The story begins with us being told about an offer to experience a second life for real, which can be done in a game called Nine Heavens, which is based on quantum entanglement and cranial nerve connection technology. The game gives complete freedom of action, players can kill, fly, and much more. In addition, the Nine Heavens opens up countless business opportunities for players. They can get rich overnight, become the CEO of a company, and marry a beautiful girl. And the most amazing thing in the game is the company's newest gaming helmet. It can restore nerves and change the shape of players' bodies. The main character, whose name is Charlie, was watching this performance, and he said that as soon as this game appeared, everything turned upside down. Charlie really hopes that all this advertising is true. He lives with his younger sister. At first, he was an ordinary office worker in one company with a good salary and future. But one day, an accident happened to him that completely changed his life. To save the boy's life, they had to spend all their savings, sell all their property, and in the end, he turned into a vegetable who could only move his head and one arm. Having started such a life, he became a burden to his sister, a non-entity to others, a target for gossip and humiliation. The broadcast stated that a game based on quantum entanglement would soon be launched, which could change the future of humanity. There are many rumors about the Nine Heavens. They say that the participants of the game have undergone enormous changes, and some have even become superhuman. What interests Charlie most is that this game allows players with paraplegia and other disabilities to regain their mobility. In the end, he gave up thoughts of suicide and dedicated his future to the Nine Heavens. The guy doesn't have money for a new helmet, so he bought a used one and hopes there won't be any problems with it. As soon as Charlie entered the game, he was greeted by a computer with artificial intelligence. She asked him to enter his code and register. The girl told him that the game was free. There were surprises everywhere and wished him a good game. When Charlie started playing, his game character was a wolf. He didn't know that such a thing was possible. Usually in games, they choose the appearance and clothes first. The guy was interested in how to level up this character and how to make money with it. Frightened by the difficulties, he started shouting and demanded to open his profile. His werewolf also had weak attributes. His base attributes were reduced, and his critical hit chance was extremely low. But then Charlie remembered the thing that had initially worried him. In this game, he could move again. His speed was very high. As soon as he finished his run, he sat down on a rock and howled. This werewolf was seen by the girls who were also playing the game with him. They began to drive him away and call him ugly. Charlie silently told them that he didn't understand what it meant to be ugly. It was hard. But newbie clothes were easy to get, so everything was fine with this game. The girls said that the wolf's weapon was terribly expensive. They said that it was just the price and that this thing could not be bought, even if you had money. Charlie was surprised that his weapon was so expensive. One of the girls immediately jumped up to him and tried to strike, but he successfully counterattacked. Then they continued to attack, but this time all together. The hero thought to himself that this couldn't continue. Other werewolves might take the initiative and attack the players. The girls were frightened by such a huge number of monsters and stopped attacking Charlie. The female game characters began to be subjected to multiple blows from claws and paws. During this commotion, Charlie decided to stab one of the girls in the back, from which he received 10 aura points and 1 monster reputation point. Charlie was pleased with the quantity and quality of items. Killing a player brings a huge amount of experience. After that, the guy walked over the bodies of all the other girls and killed them. Then Charlie asked himself where he could buy these blood-replenishing potions, perhaps at the mall. The hero checked and realized that there was no blood-replenishing potion in this shopping center. Maybe werewolves can't buy such potions. He has a talent evolution shard, a weapon, and his attack level is higher than other players. Perhaps being a werewolf, he can kill others and get points. Charlie decided to test it on the allied werewolves and hit the closest one. He said he did it out of respect for the bottle and apologized to the dead body of the animal. Having got going, the werewolf rushed towards his living relatives to take things from them. The qualities finally improved, and the appearance changed and the strength increased. Charlie said that he liked it very much. He said it was cool to be a werewolf. This game is so realistic. Then Charlie found a group of guys who said that if they didn't have equipment, players could destroy their clothes with a blow from a bat. They attacked a girl who didn't understand what they were doing. She thinks it's too much, even though it's a game. In the outside world, this girl was disturbed by another girl. She said that she had already returned from the newcomer village. If she did not come out, the girl would pull her out by force. But the first girl replied that she could not go out now under any circumstances. If she did, she would not be able to go out for 3 hours. She signed a contract with the marketers. The bandit in the game said that he heard that you can use real-life body types in the game and asked if she was like that in real life. Suddenly, Charlie came up behind him and hit him on the head with his bat. After such an attack, the leader ordered to kill him. And the next guy, Charlie, also fought them off. The guy said that his damage was too great. He was not a weak jackal, but an ordinary one. Charlie said to himself that with the blood restoration medicine he had picked up, it would be easy to deal with 3 players. One after another, these guys were defeated without any chance of winning. Charlie was very sorry that there was only 1 bottle of the potion per person. Lucy watched this and did not understand why the jackal was helping her. She handed him some potions after she realized he was after them. After that, Charlie ran away. He realized that people can be found everywhere. This place is not far from the newcomer's village, but if you attract too much attention, you can run into a fight. The place he reached was safe, but once he entered, he would become a monster. He was curious about how the other players were doing. Then Charlie decided to watch a promo video where they showed the same girl he recently saved. She was talking about how when the server launched, 80,000 people ran to the newbie village to fight monsters. As soon as the guy finished watching the video, he decided to continue killing monsters to level up. A huge crowd of jackals fell before his rock-hard hand armed with a wooden bat. He thought to himself that he needed 10 0-level talent evolution fragments to improve it. He was wondering why the talent evolution fragments were only level 0. He needed 10 level 1 to level up further. To get 1 shard, you need 10 shards of one type, then you need 100 shards of each type. It looks like Charlie needs to find high-level monsters to level up so he can get a Tier 1 evolution shard. After killing a certain number of jackals, Charlie increased his level to 2, but the quality evolution fragment is still at level 0. Suddenly, a huge, strong jackal emerged from the forest, which might have something to profit from. Charlie thought to himself that this guy was strong, but still only level 1. Charlie was level 2 and had medicine. As soon as he decided to engage the powerful jackal in battle, he realized that it was better to retreat because he had a lot of damage. In the end, after 5 minutes, Charlie defeated him. It's good that Lucy gave him blood restoration potions. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to cope with him. From this monster, the hero received a worn gray bat. The hero can sell the old one for 300, so he decided to go to the official website and take a look. The total amount is less than 100, and this weapon is really small. He decided to try to put it up for 260. As soon as he put it up for sale, he almost immediately received a message about the bat being sold. The guy also received a message on his phone saying that the same money had been deposited into his bank account. Charlie was incredibly happy about this news because he was no longer a burden and could earn money. The expert is right. The 9 heavens truly offer unlimited business opportunities. This news gave the hero motivation and he beat the monsters with renewed vigor. They died one after another. 10 minutes later, the 3rd level was finally reached. His attack, health, and defense increased. The only pity is that he killed 20 jackals, 1 strong jackal, and nothing fell to him. He then decided to try killing the agile 2nd-level monsters. This area is home to 5 agile jackals, 2 of which are level 2 and 3 of which are level 3. He thought to himself that if this monster was easy to kill, then he could try to kill the other 4. One of the next blows dealt a little damage to the hero. Charlie wondered why this happened. It was slightly higher than the 1st level. In the end, he realized that agility was responsible for attack speed, but the damage was small. At such a low level, agility and attack speed did not affect, so he decided to kill the rest, one by one. 40 minutes later, Charlie opened his profile and discovered that the talent had increased to level 1, giving him a 10% chance of getting a double critical hit. It's important to note that choosing one of the 3 quality upgrades will increase your base stats by 50%, which is a huge change. Charlie chose to increase his strength. Now he has become a powerful jackal. Half an hour later, Charlie had a long name, leveled up to level 4, and decided to sell his old bits. The money was transferred to his account almost instantly after he put the beats up for sale. In half a day, he earned 1,700 money. Now he can give his sister money for new clothes. At this time, Lucy was happy that she was able to find a bat. But she could not understand where Charlie got so many bats from. It was unreasonable. There was no such name among the top players in their area. She soon realized that he hadn't used the bat, he was selling used guns. Suddenly, Lucy's friend told her that it was time to start the broadcast. On it, the girl talked about the situation in the newcomer village. There are now more than 100,000 people there, so leaving if you go in will be quite problematic. People in the village were indignant at why there were so few newcomers to the village. Some of them had been online for several hours. One girl in the crowd said that she was pregnant and was afraid of wool, and if you push her, she would soon give birth. Lucy presented the bat to the players and suggested that they run to the store and buy it. Charlie was watching the broadcast too and said it was no wonder this bat was so popular, but this rookie village was hell. Good thing he was a jackal. Having clashed with another jackal, Charlie said that talent and qualities are improving. These monsters are special and not weak at all, one level higher than him. Charlie killed another jackal with his new gray bat, which did a lot of damage. When the hero looked at the characteristics of his bat, he was shocked by what its qualities included. The bat had characteristics of additional attack, additional attributes, strength, constitution. To test how cool his weapon was, Charlie decided to turn to the forum, but it was full of debaters and trolls. But suddenly it occurred to the hero that he could take advantage of the auction. He set a high price, but other players are achieving good results, so action needs to be taken as soon as possible. In the end, Charlie decided to sell it in half an hour. If he could sell this bat, he would earn $3,000. A girl saw Charlie put his bat up for auction with a starting price of $1,000. Later, Charlie continued to sell beats and reached level 5, but so far he only has fragments of the evolution of talents and qualities of the first level. Suddenly, the guy met some huge jackal, different from the others, from which a fragment of the evolution of qualities of the second level should fall. Charlie clashed with this jackal in battle. He had tremendous strength. He got the second level fragments from his corpse. Now he is going to kill monsters with the special prefix. After a whole day of playing, Charlie reached level 6. To level up to level 5, it took 10,000 experience. After he obtained the second level quality fragment, his attributes doubled. The name became longer and longer. Even if he hid behind a tree, he would still be found. Charlie was tired after a hard day. He decided to log offline and play tomorrow, and he also decided to sort out the equipment he received. The two best bats are put up for auction. The peculiarity is that their dexterity is low and their price is 700 or 800 money. He was also wondering if his sister Amber had returned. Her older brother had already earned some money. When he got out, he noticed that his leg was a little warm, so it was worth the money he spent on a used gaming helmet. Amber stayed late at work again and returned home drunk soon after. As soon as she came in, she immediately said that she had earned a lot of money. Her brother immediately began asking her how much she had drunk. He had already told her to drink less on the street. His sister told him that their company would be registered in the 9 heavens, and she would be the main staff. The head office says the business opportunities in this game are limitless, so they were given $5 million for registration in the 9 heavens, and everyone just finished celebrating this event. While the girl was telling all this, she sat on her brother's lap, which undoubtedly outraged him. She replied that there was no need to look at this because they were not brother and sister. She says that she wants to be with him, to take care of him for the rest of her life. The girl pushed her disabled brother to the floor and told him not to worry. The 9 heavens attracted hundreds of millions of people around the world. 500 of the largest companies are represented there. Even the Chinese Intelligence Service, the Korean Ministry of Defense, the U.S. Intelligence Service, the business opportunities here are enormous. In response to her story, her brother became worried about her. He told her not to overwork herself. He had been in this game all day. There was no need to worry about him. Eventually, the girl fell asleep on the hero's chest. The next day, when Charlie logged back into the game, he said it was good that he was a monster. Everything was sold out, and now he had 3,000 in money. During another broadcast, Lucy talked about how incredibly difficult this game is. She played until 4 in the morning and only reached level 3. They say the best player is already at level 5. Then she showed the bat that Charlie had sold her. He was the one who had sold so many bats. She told the commentators not to say bad things about Charlie. She heard that there were no closed tests. Maybe one of the insiders knows how to get such a bat. Charlie watched her and thought to himself that she had a good figure and was also cute. He was going to send her a donation and thank her. When the girl received the thank you, she realized that the hero was on the broadcast. After that, Charlie continued to increase his level by killing jackals. After 3 hours, the quality fragment finally reached the second level, and his level was 7, and he also had 740 units of blood. When he raised his head, he saw his long name. He looked for a way to hide it. He is afraid to guess what name it will have if he improves its quality. It will probably be visible 800 meters away from him. Suddenly, Charlie noticed 10 cool monsters, a whole dozen high-level monsters, and also a jackal master. He decided to find a way to defeat them. He only had 4 blood restoration potions in his inventory. That's not enough. 17 useless bits, a large amount of items of level 0, 1 and 2 is not enough to gain reputation. Then Charlie remembered the item with which he could recruit monsters to his side and force them to fight. This thing is unfair. The purchase costs 10 points, and the upgrade costs 500. Although if he sells all the items, he will be able to move on to the 3rd level. After this sale, he finally reached level 3. Now he can hire 2 monsters. To keep everyone safe, Charlie decided to upgrade all 3. After some time, his jackals became especially strong. Now they can fight strong monsters. They began to fight against the army of the Master of Jackals. 10 minutes later, one of Charlie's jackals attacked the Jackal Master and began to strike little by little. The rest of his jackal brothers came to his aid. Charlie himself would provoke him and they would attack. And so, at the end of one serious battle, Charlie realized how strong his jackals were. From the boss's corpse, the guy received shoulder pads, a chest plate, and a weapon, and all of them were incredibly strong. This weapon was green in color, and its characteristics were incredible. This bat has a lot of damage, and the attributes only make it better. Charlie said he doesn't really want to sell it. After that, Charlie sent his jackals to continue leveling up, only telling them not to go far and not to forget to pick up their equipment. If he doesn't want to sell this bat, he'll just wait until the master respawns and kill him again. It's quite possible to order them to clear out all the monsters, and the efficiency will be greater than Charlie's. At this time, Lucy encouraged people to log into the game and level up. A 10th level city had been opened in the 9 heavens, allowing people to progress to 9 basic professions, such as Poison Master, Puppet Master, and Archer. Lucy's friend said that the most advanced players haven't reached level 5 yet. It's still a long way off. They say that to move from level 5 to level 6, you need 10,000 experience. They asked her if they would join some group to continue leveling up. 6 hours later, the jackals returned to their owner and tried to wake him up. Too much time had passed since he had released them. While his subordinates were busy killing monsters, Charlie himself leveled up to the 9th level. As it turned out, they were leveling up all night. Then Charlie called the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th jackal to come with him while he fought with the huge bat and the rocks. At some point, the hero became interested in whether his subordinates had been collecting things. 20 bits appeared in his inventory. Previously, he was upset when he put bits up for auction at too high prices, but now he could profit from it. Although, of course, the price of equipment has dropped a little, and now a regular bat costs only 250, 6 complex pieces of equipment can be sold for more. All of Charlie's beats on display were sold out almost instantly, which of course surprised the hero. There was a lot of discussion on the forum about white items, which turned out to be very rare equipment. Additionally, monsters cannot include Charlie in the game list, but he cannot hide his ID when selling. It is only a matter of time before he is noticed. Lucy's friend was keeping an eye on the market and noticed Charlie put his things up for auction for 5,000. After that, she asked if Charlie had hired jackals for himself. Lucy confirmed that there was a recruitment on his team. She asked her to track his ID and let her know if he came to the broadcast. Lucy is thinking of becoming friends with him. At this time, Charlie and his subordinates were busy killing monsters. He doesn't want to think about the others. He wants to try to level up to the 9th level. 2.5 hours later, Charlie noticed that to go from level 8 to level 9, you need 50,000 experience. Looking around, he saw piles of recovery potions that seemed to have been left behind by the players. They were still going on ahead. He couldn't understand why players went to kill monsters if they couldn't defeat them. This time the catch is big. He is afraid that he will not be able to buy as many potions as he picked up. While Charlie was collecting bottles, he was noticed by other players who thought that he was the Jackal Master. Since he had a weapon and shoulder pads, he looked very much like a monster boss. A group of people, after some deliberation, attacked the hero and wanted to take his equipment. A girl from the team doubted their victory and asked the captain, to which he replied that if another player could do it, then they could too. The guy hit Charlie on the head and did the minimum damage possible. Charlie said it felt like he was tickled. His armor absorbed all the damage. The rest of the people were also very scared of this outcome. They didn't think that the boss was so strong. They now obediently surrender. Some girl told them not to panic. Maybe this is the least damage. They have potions. They will slowly beat him to death. All attacks that were dealt to the monster did not cause more than 1 point of damage, and it simply stood there calmly. Charlie thought to himself that they were all crazy. This was the lowest damage, and that meant they were interested in lying to themselves. He got tired of this performance and decided to finish them all off to teach them a lesson. With his first blow, Charlie dealt 1/6 of one of the guy's total health. After the second blow, he asked to be given potions as soon as possible to recover. Blood potion restores 10 points per second for 10 seconds and also provides a cooling effect too late. They shouted that we shouldn't panic and decided to try again, paying attention to speed and position. And then it finally dawned on them that they couldn't defeat him. They had to retreat. Charlie easily dealt with all these people and collected 27 vials of the potion from them and earned a lot of money. They probably saw him selling equipment with rock fragments, so they came to the master. Seeing how strong he is, he doesn't think that they will dare to come here again, which means he cannot level up for some time. In the real world, people who played as those players discussed how strong Charlie was and how he could have gained such strength in such a short time. They decided that this was not enough to make him lose heart. He just did not understand how a lone wolf managed to kill the boss. At this time, Charlie sat and sorted through the letters. They were finally finished, but he did not understand if everything was sold. As it turned out, he sold everything and received only 25,000. Having answered all the messages in the same way, he went on to level up further. After 8 hours, he finally reached level 10 and was very tired. But he had 28 bits, 1 shoulder pad, 1 chest plate, and rock fragments. He decided to look at the pumping mall. There are only 3 basic things, and according to estimates, they are among the most expensive. There was a jackal's shape for sale at the market, and Charlie realized that there was a human shape for sale too, which meant that he could become human. After some time of searching, Charlie mastered the low-level monster meditation method. Now he will receive 1 mana per minute. Mana is a blue bar, but when the mind is open, you can meditate. After that, he decided to put his things up for auction and go out to sleep. Lucy was leveling up with her friend. They said that you need 20,000 experience to go from level 6 to level 7. Before this, Lucy asked her friend to find out about Charlie, and she did it. She said that the only one who came to the broadcast was him, but anonymously, under a number. In response, Lucy said that she would thank her subscribers and fans for their support and choose 1 subscriber and give them a bat. On the next broadcast, the girl held a drawing, where, of course, Charlie won, who came in only for a few seconds but already won. In the correspondence, the girl fiercely insisted that he take his prize, but the guy strongly refused. After 3 minutes of arguing, Charlie still couldn't claim the prize or add the girl as a friend, which made her angry. Charlie thought to himself that he hoped his name wouldn't scare anyone because his name was so long. But finally, Charlie added the girl as a friend, and she was very happy. In the broadcast, the girl thanked him for joining them. After that, he began to think about the fact that it would be somehow inappropriate to remove him from his friends list as soon as he had taken the prize. He decided to leave it as is. She said that the poisonous fog forest opened up. It seemed to be where Charlie got to. When the hero entered the forest, he was warned that he should not fight anyone and just run on. The forest was filled with spider monsters that were in the trees and attacked the hero. They are very strong. The second will kill 2, the third and fourth one each, and he will first kill the mother spider, then the rest. The mother of spiders cast a poisoning effect on his character, which gradually removes units of health. From the 5 monsters, Charlie got 2 mana points and 3 level shards. This is a good place. Charlie said he would eventually have to spend reputation to unlock the 4th gear lot, so he decided to equip the item now since he would need the poison resistance. Suddenly, more spiders began to fall from the treetops, taking the hero by surprise. After 5 minutes, Charlie realized that this forest was too difficult. His 3 subordinates did not have time to recover. It is not surprising that they did not survive. After some time, Charlie left the game and felt incredibly tired. Suddenly, Charlie realized that he could raise his second hand again. How is that possible? His fingers are not as flexible, but he can move his hands. Then Amber called him and told him that the game was so difficult, their team worked overtime, raised their level, but only reached level 6. Charlie told her that the 9 heavens were simply amazing. He said that he continued to level up further. On the second day, Charlie and his jackals continued to kill spider monsters in the forest. Now there are more and more spiders. It is becoming a problem. Out of the corner of his eye, Charlie noticed that one of his subordinates had died. The other monsters also died, and Charlie himself was able to heal with the help of potions. After this, he was overcome with rage, which he was going to take out on the boss who was to blame for this. 10 minutes later, Charlie emerged from the forest and began to mourn his dead subordinates. He said that the Jackal Master would soon be reborn, and he would borrow 3 monsters from him. This time, he would have to spend time leveling them up, protecting them from monsters and upgrading them. On the second day after that, the attributes of these 3 improved. They steadily gained poison resistance at a rate of 10 units per person. Then a boss appeared, who summoned many small spiders along with him. Charlie ordered the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to follow him, fight with all their might, and run on. This boss was level 10 and he didn't disappoint. 3 pieces of equipment dropped from her, one of them was even green. That spider fang, the necklace, to put on both, you need to spend 800 and 1,600 reputation. Charlie said these bosses are incredibly easy. The bosses in this forest respawn faster, which is why that stone tablet said that only 1 in 10 people manages to escape. Charlie ordered his subordinates to continue leveling up. They needed 80 more pieces of equipment. After some time, when he came out of the forest, he saw his new name, which had become even longer. He had been trying to achieve these attributes for so long, then he decided to see if the mall had the ability he needed. Once he leveled up his bloodline, he turned into a spider. His lower half was spider-like. After integrating bloodlines, the movement speed became much faster. This system definitely wants to force him to buy skins. Then Charlie said that he had a busy day and decided to take a rest and have a snack. Now he has gloves from the poison mist forest in his backpack, 1 for the 3 fools and 1 for himself, 5 sets in total. While some group was fighting with jackal monsters, Lucy and her team joined them. She ordered the capture of the wreckage and the consolidation of the advantage. Then Charlie appeared, who came to help the girl who was fighting monsters. People saw this and were afraid of the monster that was approaching them. The guys in the group were saying that appearances can be deceiving. He has a confused face. He is stopped by 1 from each team. Some guy near Charlie said that he had a funny long name, but he was as big as the Jackal Master. This guy hit Charlie on the head and again did the minimum amount of damage. The girls who watched this were very shocked. They could not expect that Charlie could have such armor. Other people began to call out to the others, saying that he was clearly not hostile and simply had strong armor. Charlie silently answered them that if they wanted to attack the Master of Jackals, they would have to go through him. He pierced some guy with his limbs and killed him immediately. The others were scared by this. Charlie dealt 250 points of damage. This was too much for them to understand. In response to this, he replied that he was really so handsome that they stared at him like that. With a couple of swings of his weapon, he lifted several people into the air at once. After this, people began to gather together to deal with Charlie more quickly and effectively. Charlie answered to himself that the master had little health left, but he could still be saved. Then he attacked Lucy and left her with very little health and even poisoned her. Having killed so many people, Charlie earned a lot of money and called his subordinates to collect potions from them. He thought about going to Lucy's broadcast to see what the other players were doing. At this time, Lucy disappointedly told her group that their mission to kill the Jackal Master had failed. No one expected him to be so strong. He dealt with the whole group like little children. Then someone from the group asked Lucy if Charlie wasn't her friend. She needed to ask him how he could defeat the Jackal Master. Everyone at once began to beg the girl to ask the hero for advice. After some time, Charlie received a message where Lucy wrote to him. Charlie thought to himself that now his goal was to go through the forest of poisonous fog and then sell the things that he got there. Eventually, Charlie answered her and said that Hambleton did not appear every time, and the girl was incredibly grateful to him. Then, Charlie said that since all the subordinates were gathered, it was necessary to continue pumping. On the second day of pumping, Charlie said that the whole suit was almost assembled, so they could move on. Not knowing what the next enemy would be, the hero encountered a bamboo python, which attacked him and his jackals. Charlie immediately ordered his guys to attack him and try to defeat him. The second one has a poison suit, and its resistance to poison is 19, and the enemy's poison damage is 20. 10 minutes later, the pythons had become much more numerous, and he realized that this game was trying to scare the hell out of its players. It seemed like the battle was dragging on. He had not only poisonous armor, but also a bunch of potions. 80 bottles of potion for each fool. 2 hours later, the battle continued. Charlie was terribly tired. He was thinking about how to kill these snakes. On the second day, Charlie slept very well. Today, he does not want to fight. He ran as soon as he entered the game, and does not even know if he can kill all those snakes. When he came in, he didn't understand why the jackals were still fighting, since he was definitely out of the game. During the leveling process, the jackals also reached level 9. It turns out that these three took turns resting and leveling up. Then, since he wasn't there, they shared their experience among themselves and improved their levels. Charlie had been worried about leveling up between his subordinates before, but no matter how much experience they had, their levels wouldn't rise, and if he were to split the experience he gained between them, he would get very little. The pythons he killed were enough to buy their pedigree. 2,000 prestige points was a bit steep for him, but he hoped their talent wouldn't let him down. To level up, you'll have to change your appearance again, but the damage will increase by 10%. This poison is stronger than spider poison. He has become so ugly now. The further he goes, the uglier he gets. Charlie decided that he would be ugly, but at least strong, and hit the python on the head with his bat. Poison buffs can stack, one lasting 5 seconds, the other lasting 7 steps. Seeing this, Charlie ordered his subordinates to continue attacking the pythons and leveling up. In an instant, all 4 found themselves above the fallen bodies of the monsters. And finally, a monster with a name appeared. It was the boss of this forest. This boss's equipment is probably very durable. Charlie doesn't know whether to fight or not. In the end, Charlie decided to fight. There were no monsters around him, and with the help of the jackals, he could and would win. As soon as Charlie decided to get closer, the boss released threads of web in their direction. These threads instantly enveloped the bodies of his subordinates and Charlie himself. Charlie easily broke these threads, but he still lacked his subordinates. Her damage is a little higher than Charlie's, but she has over 4,000 health and regeneration is very fast. High damage, poison damage, a lot of health, decreased movement speed and skill attack speed. Charlie received all this after the buff. This boss is terrible. If they switch to another team, they will die. It's good that the hero improved the spider lineage. They are quite fast. In order to deal with him quickly, Charlie decided to rely on his subordinates. But they didn't have time to do anything and were again enveloped in web threads. When Charlie defeated the spider boss, he was very happy. From her, he received 4 fragments, 5 items, green and blue equipment. The guy got blue equipment. Even if one of the players defeated the Jackal Master, the journey here will take a huge amount of time, but you can earn a ton of money here. Half an hour later, the boss was already revived again. Charlie was very surprised by such a short time of appearance. Charlie thought to himself that the poison mist forest was meant to block players from entering the main city, so the boss's respawn rate here should be higher. 10 hours later, Charlie was very tired. After a long leveling up, he had collected 17 sets of poison armor and a lot of other things. The other players probably think he's had enough of this forest and died, but no, it's time for Charlie to get rich. The guy found out that the 8th slot of equipment costs 4,000 reputation points, which is very expensive, but the armor itself is very good. No one mentions the boss on the forums, and it seems no player has reached level 3, they all passed level 1, but no one has gained access to the forest entrance. Charlie wants to make a splash and decided to advertise through Lucy's broadcast. It's the fastest way. While Charlie was thinking about her, the girl and her team fought the spider boss. They were defeated and decided to return. When she came back, she was thinking about how some teams said that spiders had equipment to protect themselves from poison, but they didn't. Her viewers advised her to contact Charlie to help her kill the spider boss. The girl asked Charlie if he had been in the forest and if he had any equipment with protection against poison, and he replied that he did. When Charlie asked her how many costumes she needed, she was very embarrassed by the question. Lucy's teammates were perplexed by their dialogue. They couldn't believe that Charlie could have so many costumes. The girl asked him for 3 suits, and the guy asked her to go to the trading platform and send him a link to trade. Lucy delighted her boys and said that she bought 3 poison-resistant suits and couldn't believe it. After some time, the girl received the spider armor at her disposal. She was very glad that she received such powerful equipment. Charlie realized that this was great advertising. It caught everyone's attention, so why was he able to get through the poisonous fog forest without a suit? He made an announcement to the other players that he would be holding an auction where he would sell the costumes. 20 minutes into the auction, a girl asked the audience to be quiet, as the auction was about to begin. That girl turned out to be Charlie, and his first item was a spider silk helmet, which was sold in 3 copies. The people in the audience thought that Charlie was only selling poison-resistant suits, but they were all shocked by the things he was selling. When he sold his first helmet, he was very pleased with the price he was getting for his items. Then Charlie put out some more stuff, and people were again amazed that he was getting such cool stuff. The hero said that the poison mist forest costume they had been waiting for so long was sold in 3 sets. The audience immediately screamed in surprise. They thought it was all some kind of joke. Charlie was very pleased with how much money he would get from all these things. Some guy offered $45,000, and the guys in front of him started discussing him. He was very rich by their standards. Then people started raising their stakes, and Charlie was able to get much more than he expected. People were already thinking that this was the end because 5 suits were taken away. After that, they became upset and headed home, some of them initially expecting that they had no chance from the very beginning. Charlie immediately began to talk about how many people think that after the snakes, they will emerge from the forest of poisonous fog, but in fact, an even more terrible test awaits them further. The public was frightened by this announcement. They didn't think that there would be anything more terrible after the snakes. Charlie then said that he had another piece of equipment that could be of great help to them in breaking through the poison fog forest. People were shocked by such news. Could this equipment really be so powerful that it could help them so easily? The equipment he wants to sell them is armor, and they can examine its attributes for themselves. The fact that this equipment was blue made people even more surprised. It also had abilities. Lucy, who was watching the auction, asked to tell them the price quickly. When Charlie left the game, he said that the auction lasted just over an hour. He received 10% of the auction fee. The total amount was $450,000. He thought that one arm was fully functional. He could feel one leg intuitively. Maybe he should buy a new apartment for him and his sister. The hero sold so much equipment that he wondered if anyone could break through the poisonous fog forest. After some time, Lucy's group went to clear the poisonous fog forest and continue on their way. Having collected their thoughts, they simultaneously attacked the spiders that filled this forest. Lucy also fought alongside them and was at the forefront of the group. The girl said that she knows that everyone is tired, but they need to continue. They killed the spider boss, and it seems they got a gauntlet from her. Then the group attacked a bamboo python, and the commander ordered them not to break formation. This poison was to blame for everything. Other snakes were about to attack them. After several hours, Lucy's group finally broke through the snakes. After that, they met a spider boss who was very strong. This is the boss that Charlie warned them about. The guys were talking about how if Charlie could defeat her, then they could too. They would kill her and get to the main city. In an instant, the boss caught the group in a web, and they had no time to do anything about it. The next day, when Charlie logged into the game, he ordered his subordinates to stop leveling up and head to the city. The hero admitted that the boss had pretty good skills, and he should learn them. 10 minutes later, Charlie and his subordinates reached the developed city. With his status, he was not yet allowed to head to the main city of the 10th level, so he first decided to go to the 100 Beast Mountains. The mountains he was heading towards were very huge. He ordered the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th jackal to follow him and see if there were any monsters there. Then Charlie got to the mass grave, which was a creepy place. There must be something special there. Charlie tried to revive someone and was informed that no one cares about decapitated bodies. It is difficult for the soul to sleep in foreign lands. After this, the inhabitant of the grave was resurrected. It was a girl half skeleton and half zombie. She wounded several jackals at once with one blow and knocked them off their feet. Charlie noticed that she had huge damage and also several hits, which is what he needed. The next moment, the rest of the dead appeared in the area. He said that this place is really creepy. Fortunately, their damage was weakened. Otherwise, the second, third, and fourth would not have survived. To deal with the monsters, Charlie used the skill he learned from the spider boss, and the thread burst out from his stomach. 10 minutes later, Charlie managed to recruit the dead men as his subordinates. Thanks to her high damage, she can reduce the armor of enemies, and the hero really liked this layout. After another 15 minutes, the guy recruited 4 more, and now there were 5 dead men in his squad. Charlie admitted that having his own plot is great, but he still needs to choose a higher level plot so that players can't get to him for a while. He said that the top of the mountain was probably the highest in the 100 Beast Mountains, and there he decided to choose a place for the site. A little later, he met a tiger lord on his way. He had high damage, but fortunately he did not bring any of the other monsters. To deal with this monster, Charlie ordered his new subordinates to participate in the upcoming battle. The tiger dealt devastating damage, but the hero barely managed to dodge his blow. Charlie thought to himself that he was too fast, and his damage was high, and his health wasn't enough to deal with him. 40 minutes later, the guy and his assistants were finally able to defeat the Tiger Lord. The system notified Charlie that he had completed the mission and received his own plot and title. This was a title of bravery. Characters with this prefix receive an attribute bonus that increases base health by 20%. Even though Charlie was a monster, it was great in its own way. He gathered his subordinates to clear out the monsters and level up. By killing the local monsters, the hero and his subordinates gain a lot of experience. He was glad that he was finally getting new items, and 2 of them at once. After some time, Charlie finally increased his level to 12. He then headed to a secret dungeon, which surprised him. The guy ordered his monsters to continue killing monsters, but not to kill too many, to fight together and to rest if their health was less than 40%. A portal appeared before the hero's eyes, and with its appearance, Charlie received a notification that before entering the portal, he could choose any materials he wanted. Charlie realized to himself that, in other words, when he inserts the weapon, the monster inside the realm drops it and hides it in his clothes. Then he realized to himself that it would not be more cost-effective to use the material. He got the 4th level material. For example, if the monsters inside drop the 4th level materials 5 times, then he should get a lot of money. Then his prayer ended and Charlie found himself in a huge cave. Suddenly, a notification about the entrance to a secret dungeon appeared, and people immediately realized that Charlie had already reached level 12. He also realized that as soon as he entered the secret dungeon, the entire server already knew about it. The guy decided that he would get the material no matter what. Luckily, these silver wolves aren't very strong, so there's no need to deal with all 5. The experience and materials the guy received were actually increased 5-fold. An hour later, Charlie had already leveled up and was incredibly happy about it. A new prefix has been added to his name. Now he is like a real boss. However, he does not know where to find ancient fragments and an ancient heart in order to level up. Now he needs to deal with the boss. His characteristics allow him to deal with the monster without any problems. Compared to the hero himself, the boss wolf was weaker. After killing the monster, Charlie received a huge amount of money, talent evolution fragments, attributes, and reputation. The message about the boss being killed and the dungeon being closed was also shown throughout the server. It is unknown when the next dungeon will be found. With so many materials, Charlie decided it would be better to exchange them for reputation and upgrade the Legion recruitment order to the next level. After half an hour, Charlie decided it was time to sort out the improvement of his territory and harnessed his subordinates. When the hero left the game, he realized that in less than a week he had earned $500,000. He couldn't quite believe it. Then Charlie noticed that his arm was completely healthy and his upper body began to recover. He called his sister and decided to please her by telling her that his upper body was moving again. The guy is starting to feel his hip. Maybe he will be able to walk again soon, but first he wants to buy a house. But he can't afford a big house. But the necessary one will be enough. He found information on the internet about a sale in a residential complex and decided that the next day he would go and check it out. At this time, a conversation was taking place at the National Security Agency between the head and his subordinate about the security agency creating a special task force to participate in the game. The director replied that the game involved not only them, but also the government and military of the entire world, and that it could change the future of humanity. He thinks that when they reach the next level, they will learn some clues. Then he asked how things were going, and Alex replied that they were still in the poison fog forest. It was very difficult, to which the director replied that he needed to find Charlie. He would help them get out of there. He is the only one who passed it, according to information from relevant agencies. The next day, Charlie arrived at the construction company to look at apartments, and a girl working there volunteered to accompany him. Alex's people watched him and were surprised that Charlie was disabled. The girl said that he could be sure of the quality of their property. They guaranteed that he would not be deceived and would not suffer losses. The hero said that it looked good, and the girl said not to delay, otherwise someone else would buy this apartment. Suddenly, some girl appeared above them and told them not to buy an apartment here because there were some problems with it. Then she addressed everyone with the words, "Not to buy an apartment here. The buildings there are so poor quality that they could collapse." The people standing in the crowd naturally didn't believe what this girl was saying, but after a few moments they decided to listen. The realtor girl immediately called security to have the dissenter removed from the building, but she continued to say that she was telling the truth. Charlie thought to himself that once the payment was made, it would be difficult to get it back. Whether it was true or not, it was better not to buy this apartment for now. Then the security arrived, and the leader of the group asked the onlookers to act immediately, not to aggravate the situation, and to buy without hesitation. One of the guards who passed by Charlie called him rudely and ordered him to get out of there and not interfere. The leader grabbed the girl and said that if she had something to say, they should go out alone and talk. The people who were there filmed the situation on their phones and said that the video had not yet been released, but the number of views would be huge. The girl started screaming for help and for them to stop filming. Then Charlie stood up for her and asked the head of security how dare he intimidate the girl. The man tried to kick the guy, but he easily blocked his blow and was pleasantly surprised. He ordered the boy to be beaten so badly that no one could take care of him anymore. Charlie noticed that not only was his strength increasing, but his reaction speed was also faster. One of the men tried to tip over the wheelchair so that he would not be able to resist. But then Alex appeared and asked how they dared to frighten their master and ordered them to attack him since they were so brave. After a short fight, all the ill-wishers were already lying unconscious on the floor. Alex apologized to Charlie for scaring him and offered to deal with the rest of the bullies. The next moment, the senior manager of this construction company appeared and began asking who dared to create problems for them. Alex immediately called someone on the phone and said that some manager had appeared and created problems for them. The man took this gesture as an attempt to show off and ordered the offenders to be driven away. The big guys standing nearby told him not to worry. A bunch of hooligans were trying to deal with them champions. One of the pieces jumped up and tried to hit Alex, but the guy dealt with them with ease, so that the manager didn't have time to realize anything. After this, Alex said that he was giving him 1 minute to use other methods, and the man immediately began to apologize for his indecent behavior. The man was immediately struck in the chest by a blow that caused devastating damage. This behavior infuriated Alex. He forced their boss and thought that he had atoned for his guilt. The crowd immediately started talking about Charlie. Everyone started thinking that he was the son of a rich family and was incredibly cool. Alex then turned to the guy and said that 3 years had passed and welcomed him into their family to lead them. Charlie responded to this by also playing their boss. He said that now it seems like a luxury to him, so he doesn't have too many hopes. 3 minutes later, police arrived and accused the construction company of conspiring with officials. The manager stood up and said he had no idea a disabled person could have such a terrible past. The police officer also apologized to Alex for allowing such a mess to happen. After this, Alex approached Charlie and said that they needed to find a place to talk alone. Charlie realized that it seemed like they wanted to ask him for something. He hoped that fulfilling their request would not cause him much trouble. Then the girl came up to the guy and thanked him for standing up for her and said that he was incredibly cool. Alex said that he and Charlie would be leaving and thanked the girl for helping him. As soon as they were alone, Alex told the guy that while they couldn't tell him, there was a certain player in the game, and they needed his help, for a reward, of course. The guy said that they have their own methods, but there is not a single weak spot in the cyber defense of this game, just like in the bank system, and Charlie confirmed that hacking the bank system is not easy. Alex revealed that 500 of their players were stuck in the snake stage, so they needed Charlie's help to get through the poison fog forest. Alex handed the guy a card with which he could choose any villa, and Charlie replied that he could not accept such a huge reward. He said that he doesn't like to be in debt to people. He will earn what he wants with his own hands. Alex said that with this card, he can get a discount on any property owned by their company. The hero agreed, but asked to answer the question of why they were spending so much effort, since it was just a game. As soon as the guy received the answer, he told their players to wait at the entrance to the forest, and Alex was incredibly surprised that Alex was this strong player. In his mind, Charlie thought that the discount card was great, but protecting his sister's life was more important. It was really worth cooperating with. The next day, a huge crowd of players gathered to finally pass through the poison mist forest. Someone in the crowd said that their equipment for the quest was too bad, and Alex confirmed this, saying that they wouldn't be able to buy better equipment right now. And so, the boss finally ordered his fighters to advance into battle. But as soon as they stepped onto the battlefield, they were met by Charlie, who had already defeated everyone. Alex couldn't understand how he had defeated an entire pack on his own. This guy was too strong. At this time, the hero was thinking that if it weren't for his team, it would be difficult to kill them. The guy killed the boss too. The red-haired guy said that this forest has destroyed many teams. How strong is Charlie? 2 days of leveling later, Charlie had collected a huge amount of items, and the entire team had also reached level 14. From the next boss, Charlie received some unusual item that he had never seen before. It turned out to be a skirt. It fell out for the first time after 2 days of continuous pumping, which means the percentage of its loss is too low. The guy decided to put it up for sale, and Lucy caught the moment. She also noticed that this was some kind of unusual equipment. It was not on the list of regular equipment, and it was also only available to female characters. The girl decided to try it on and felt that the skirt emitted a pleasant aroma that she liked. Some girl who plays the game also wanted to get this skirt and asked her father to buy it for her. The young couple also wanted to get their hands on the rare item. As the item was about to go on sale, Lucy's chest tightened with anticipation. Charlie was happier than ever. He managed to sell these clothes for a whopping $85,000. Then the hero decided to awaken new abilities, and some kind of plant grew on his head. Because of this, the guy's field of vision increased by a huge distance. The fog near the hero has a mind-clouding effect and cannot be seen until it merges with the flower monster's blood. Suddenly, a notification appeared throughout the game server that Charlie was entering the Lost Garden of Eden. This mission was level 20, and people thought that the guy had already reached this level, but this was impossible. Then a notification appeared that due to the activation of a server-wide mission, all major cities of the 10th level of the Beast Mountain would be temporarily combined into one zone. To take part in this mission, Lucy and her friends wanted to join a large team of adventurers. Charlie only now noticed how much noise the server-wide announcement had caused. It's amazing that monsters can see so well in the fog with the help of mutation. And suddenly it dawned on him, he is a wild monster who also mutated, so why can't he deal with them? With the boost, all of the hero's attributes increased by several values, and this is the advantage of a wild monster: stability. After 15 minutes, Charlie noticed that there were a lot of players in the combined area. It should be cool in a level 10 city. During her broadcast, Lucy invited her viewers to watch the game, to take a look at the Storm City after all the zones merged. The current main city has become even larger than the newbie village, and protection has been removed for players above level 10. Now everyone is looking for the Lost Garden of Eden, which is why there are no team battles. Charlie said to himself that it was not easy to be a player, but it was good that he was a wild monster. It was assumed that it would take some time for players to find the entrance to the Lost Garden. They should take this opportunity and hunt new monsters. While hunting strong monsters, Charlie was very pleased with how much experience and items he received. Enormous monsters, larger than the player himself, lay dead in front of his tail. From one of the monsters, Charlie received claws that had amazing characteristics. After that, he decided to sell the mace that he had been using all this time. The prices for equipment have risen a lot, probably because of this general server unification. Everyone needs more equipment. In 5 minutes, Charlie earned 15,000. If he and his subordinates try even harder, they will earn even more. Someone noticed that Charlie sold the equipment that drops from the Silver Wolf. Most of the entrances to the Garden of Eden are located at their location. Suddenly, someone from the group noticed fog in the distance and thought that this could be the entrance to this garden. It was indeed an entrance. They were talking about how just because Charlie found an entrance doesn't mean he can win. A guy who looked like the leader of the group began to motivate his comrades to win. As he walked deeper into the monster territory, Charlie encountered the southeastern eye of the formation and was thinking about how to destroy this stone pillar. He ordered his subordinate to try to attack the pillar, but the soul of an evil wolf stood up to defend him and intercepted the dead man. This monster had a lot of damage. Charlie was scared of it and ordered his monsters to retreat. He would deal with it himself. Even his 500th attack didn't break his armor, and besides, this monster has 100,000 health. This time, they are facing a truly tough battle. First, Charlie decided to arm his team and then deal with the defender. After finishing his preparations, Charlie entangled the monster in his web and directed his subordinates to fight. The wolf didn't have to put much effort into getting out of this web. He broke free and attacked the jackals. After an hour of fighting, Charlie warned his monsters to attack more carefully and try not to make mistakes. At this time, Alex and his team continued to fight monsters and looked for the entrance to the Garden of Eden. Lucy was also in this battle. She noticed that the wolves had mutated and become more powerful. The poisonous fog not only makes monsters stronger, but also weakens people. Some guy couldn't think about what would happen if this fog spread to the main city. You need to stop thinking and look for the entrance. Suddenly, a message appeared on the server that Charlie had destroyed the first eye of the formation, and people were very surprised by this. By the end of this battle, Charlie was incredibly tired. He and his subordinates were resting after a hard fight. After so much effort, the reward should be more than generous. As a reward, the hero was given a choice. He was offered an ability and a pet. Now he has his own territory, and therefore he can take the baby Cotty with him. Eventually, Charlie took the little wolf cub home and decided to test its properties. The cub was level 1, he was weak, and it took a lot of strength to grow. Charlie told his monsters that people had disappeared somewhere. They were killing monsters to move on to the next level. At this time, a group of people were fighting with the silver wolves. They were changing teams to replenish supplies. The spellmaster is casting a buff. You need to be careful. There aren't many silver wolves left. Then a message went through the server that Charlie was entering the southern eye area of the formation. Half an hour later, a group of people discovered some kind of gate, and it occurred to them that their plan might not work. Elsewhere, the leader and his assistant were discussing the number of people who had arrived to join their group. The assistant told the boss that about 70 people had arrived and that they were engaged in killing monsters. Suddenly, a message appeared that Charlie had killed another formation eye, and the boss began to stir and take action. After killing the new boss, Charlie received another pet. It was a bird. Charlie had collected a lot of equipment, but there were only a few healing potions left. Without them, he would not be able to kill the boss, and he was sorry that he couldn't buy them anywhere. Here, in the area, voices of people who had discovered the hero's jackals were heard. They said that visibility was too low. They needed to be in formation. First observe, and then take any action. People saw a boss who had an incredibly long name. They don't see him clearly, but they feel that he is very strong. It was Charlie. He instantly ordered his subordinates to attack the people. The guys didn't understand why these monsters had so much damage. They were losing too much health. Suddenly, they decided to retreat. Otherwise, their team would be destroyed. In an instant, Charlie dealt with a huge crowd of people. 5 minutes later, there were no more people left, and the hero noticed that the players were over level 10 and had no newbie protection. He then ordered an attack on the nearest people. This is the closest entrance to the southwest eye of the formation. The next boss of the formation eye was a huge scorpion that was fought by a huge crowd of people. There were about 300 of them. They were well trained in combat, and their boss found a way to get here. They are quite good. The next moment, Charlie decided to watch Lucy's broadcast, where she explains the situation with the Garden of Eden. During the broadcast, Lucy said that she was in the Western Formation. Judging by the current situation, killing this boss will take a long time. The Southwest Formation boss dies the fastest, then the Northwest Formation boss will be defeated, and finally the West Formation boss. After watching this broadcast, Charlie understood the order in which he should kill the bosses. On the way to the next boss, the hero entangled people in his web so that they would not interfere with him. People were surprised that there were still monsters in the forest. The monster that was approaching them had an incredibly long name. Now there were two powerful monsters. The human teams were about to destroy them. Once Charlie had dealt with the people, he went head-to-head with the Scorpion boss. After killing the southwestern eye of the formation, there are two more bosses to destroy. The western eye of the formation was a monster covered in fur and resembling a lion. This boss can absorb mana and convert it into health, each one more terrifying than the last. An hour later, Charlie received a pet lion cub as a reward. Only one eye of the formation remained. Suddenly, a message from the system appeared before the guy's eyes, stating that a mission about killing captured animals was available to him. Charlie agreed to the quest and columns appeared around him, on which sat the baby monsters he had caught. At some point, they began to growl and turn into huge monsters. The guy doesn't want to kill all four because he's not confident in his abilities. A dragon appeared in front of the monsters, which was incredibly huge. All four monsters immediately sided with the hero and were ready to fight by his side. Seeing such conditions, Charlie nevertheless decided to challenge the huge lizard and rushed into battle. The dragon was fire-breathing, and a powerful gust of a wall of fire erupted from its mouth. This fiery breath seriously injured all the monsters. Charlie said that if it weren't for the four beasts, they would have definitely died. Charlie immediately ordered his subordinates to retreat back because they would definitely die. In fact, Charlie's web can wrap around in a second. At first, he thought it was useless, but he didn't expect this. Charlie ordered the monsters to attack the dragon because some of them can suck out mana and weaken him. When the hero realized how much health the monster had, he immediately realized that they would be fighting him for a very long time. An hour later on the other side, people were still trying to kill the bosses. A girl from the group told her captain that the allied group was deliberately trying to separate them from their comrades. Another guy ordered his comrades that if all the people came closer to the columns, then a bad joke would play on their allies. The captain of the team that is about to betray its allies says that its allies are idiots who help each other. He walked up to the pillar and destroyed the eastern eye of the formation, leaving two more for him to deal with. The captain of the other team finally realized that they had been betrayed and they were going to kill the traitors. When people opened the portal and entered it, they were disappointed that Charlie had taken all the ferocious beasts for himself. And now finally all the former allied groups have come together and are going to solve these problems. At this time, the boss was thinking that the status could not be turned off. The pet would explode. He could not understand who was making hidden dungeons. At this time, Charlie is still fighting the dragon, and he has an inexorable feeling that he will win. A fight broke out at the entrance to the Lost Garden of Eden, and explosions and the sound of clubs could be heard on the field. Some people even tried to maintain combat ethics at such times, but quickly stopped because the battle was being fought because of betrayal. Some people didn't understand why the fight was happening, but they were quickly told that teams were being robbed there. The system is silent and continues to post ads, but this is so that they don't know who they are robbing. After killing the dragon, Charlie received a small lizard as a reward. Then, the system offered the hero a mission to collect incredibly rare monsters, and Charlie also realized that it was impossible. When Charlie completed the mission in the Lost Garden, upon exiting, he was confronted with a scene of crowds of people fighting. People looked at him and thought that there was another boss left alive. To avoid fighting so many people, the guy decided to just run away and not get involved in their affairs. So Charlie gathered all his monsters and headed home. Suddenly, nearby, the screams of people who were pursuing the group's boss were heard again. Charlie thought to himself that they had chosen a good place. They probably didn't even know that this was his territory. The boss of the group was fighting with several people at the same time at that time and had no intention of giving up his loot. Suddenly, these people were attacked by Charlie's monsters and beaten unconscious. Charlie realized that it was not surprising that the system had to announce every time who had destroyed the formation's eye, so it ended up snatching someone, but someone would definitely understand this. Next, Charlie decided to take away the rest of the treasures that were nearby. The people on the battlefield still wanted to catch up with the boss and kill him for the betrayal he had committed. To everyone's surprise, Charlie landed from the sky and startled everyone present. When it was all over, Charlie was holding a sphere containing 2 snakes. After collecting all the monsters, he completed the mission to collect the incredibly rare monsters and said that this time, everything should be much easier. 2 hours later, Charlie, along with his subordinates and new pets, arrived home. He is incredibly tired and is going to go to bed after putting the equipment up for sale. When Charlie left the game, he said that the equipment was sold out, he had about $1 million in savings, and he wanted to surprise his sister. He opened his phone and saw 16 missed calls from Amber. After calling his sister, he immediately asked what happened. In response to this, Amber said that this was not just a game. Their team became a target for the boss's team. Every time they came out of the forest, they were immediately killed. Half an hour later, the girl thanked her brother for allowing her to talk to him and for making her feel better. After that, Charlie thought to himself that the current situation was unusual. He was afraid that confessing to Amber was useless. It was better not to tell her anything for now. 2 days later, Charlie was incredibly happy to finally be able to stand on his feet, his right leg almost fully restored. He's currently at level 14, so based on this progress, he should be able to fully recover in about 3 levels. When Charlie entered the game, he gave his subordinates instructions regarding new pets, which needed to be leveled up. The wild territory is so vast that it is very difficult to find the boss's people. It is better to ask someone for help. To deal with the boss's men, Charlie asked the guild for help, and 5 minutes after asking for help, he found these people and began to deal with them. The hero thought to himself that if he wanted to help Amber, he could only become a strong shoulder for her, on which she could rely. Then Charlie remembered that he once wanted to buy a human form to make his arrival in the game easier. Just a little bit more and he will be able to buy this look and finally help his sister. While killing the boss's men, Charlie was incredibly serious and angry, with dead bodies flying around him. After 10 hours, the guy realized that the skin was too difficult to tear apart. These people wanted to anger him. After he left the game, he called Amber and said that if she needed help, she could contact his friend. The girl couldn't believe that he could have anything to do with games because before that, he usually didn't play them. At the end of the conversation, the guy sent the girl to bed and rest. 2 days later, Charlie decided to add his sister as a friend anonymously so that she wouldn't know it was him. In the correspondence, Amber told him the whole situation and asked for help. The boss's people were not allowing them to carry out missions in peace. The neutral zone is full of people. If he goes there, it will cause huge problems. He didn't think the last few dozen people would be right at his door. He remembers the leopard being close to him. At this time, Charlie and his subordinates were busy killing monsters. At some point, Charlie, remembered as the boss from the Lost Garden of Eden, also appeared. People didn't know how to deal with him. He seemed too elusive to them. When only one boss of the group remained, Charlie used his poison on him. The hero was very upset that he only received healing potions from the boss, but no equipment. Then the guy received a message in which his sister was interested in what his sister looked like in this game. In this video, Amber thanked the guy for helping her, and they will finally be able to complete the missions. At some point, the girl found herself trapped. From behind the girl, another girl appeared, dressed all in purple and carrying a whip. Because Amber was not going to obey her, she began to beat the girl on the back with a whip. Seeing this, Charlie was incredibly angry. He wanted human blood in response to this. And so finally, Charlie bought a human form and turned from a huge jackal monster into an ordinary man in armor. He was incredibly happy that he could finally become a human and no longer have to hide like a monster. Charlie decided that if he hid his name, he would be a wolf in sheep's clothing and no one would recognize him. At this time, as soon as Amber left the game, she was incredibly upset. Her friend sitting next to her told her not to worry. The boss and the others had gone to lunch. They would be back soon and help her get revenge. Amber replied that this was her personal dislike, but if they joined, it would become a team dislike. As soon as Charlie wanted to kill some monster with one blow, some group stood up for him and thought that he needed help. One of them was the girl who helped him on the day he bought the apartment. She also plays. Her name is Jill. The group got shoulder pads from this monster. A girl named Jessica is going to sell them and split the money equally. She asked Charlie why he was wandering through the forest alone, to which the guy replied that he was a loner and did not have a guild. Charlie said that others kill one person at 10 steps, but they kneel before one person at 10 steps. Aren't they being too harsh on themselves? A guy named Henry wanted others to kneel before him, but in reality, it turned out the other way around. When asked what guild they were from and how they got through the forest, the team replied that they didn't have a guild. They paid someone to lead them through the forest. Charlie was surprised that there were so many people in the main city. Jill replied that it was normal. He just arrived, so he didn't see what was here before the server split. When the hero raised his head, he saw the ranking of the Twin Towers. It had not changed for a long time. The strongest of the strongest were here. Everyone who entered or left the city admired them. Jill heard that the first place was for a professional fighter with incredible reaction speed. Charlie was talking to himself about how the forum said that big shots and guilds were competing to get on this list. Now he can enter the main city. Henry told him not to dream of a place on the Twin Towers ranking unless he was that person. Suddenly, Jill approached the guy and said that he hid his information, whether he really is who he says he is. Jessica told them to stop talking. They needed to buy some medicine. She asked the team members if they should create their own guild. Charlie thought to himself that he didn't expect her to become an actress, no wonder, because she was very beautiful. As Charlie walked through the square, some guys passed by him and told him to watch where he was going. His comrade said that if he sees them in the city, he should avoid them. The crowd was abuzz with talk that the three masters were about to challenge the Divine Punishment Tower again. Since Amber wasn't in the game, Charlie decided to go to the tower too and see how far he could go. People in the crowd were surprised that such a simple guy wanted to challenge the tower, but he had just come to the city. They started laughing because Charlie didn't seem like the type to go far without breaking a sweat. The boy approached the girl at the entrance and said that he wanted to challenge the Tower of Divine Punishment. People said not to pay attention to Charlie, whether the top three could improve their results. Henry told his comrades about seeing Charlie enter the tower. Jessica said that if he wanted to challenge her, he should have asked first. All the players except Charlie were listed on the leaderboard, which confused Jill. One of the participants at this time was already busy killing monsters. Since he was one of the strongest, it was not difficult for him. Charlie's new friends watched his progress and were ready to accept the fact that he had some abilities and was strong. 2 minutes later, Charlie was still alive and the news left viewers amazed. Jessica said that the first level of the tower should be finished in 3 minutes, but for some reason, Charlie's time is still growing. That participant, watching the success of his rivals, could not understand why Charlie was able to move from level to level. At this time, the hero was busy killing monsters, from which he received a lot of money. The guy was happy that he received 100 for each. He didn't have a penny in his pocket, and this was a good opportunity to earn some extra money. At some point, the hero received a notification that if he stayed on the first floor of the Divine Punishment for more than 4 minutes, he would be transferred to the next level. On the next floor, the monsters were even stronger, and after killing them, the hero received twice as much. 4 minutes later, Charlie received another notification to move to the next level. On the third floor, Charlie received almost 40 silver coins for a kill. It was a money-making paradise. People who watched this did not understand how he managed to do it. Henry was also shocked. He recognized him. Jessica also couldn't believe it. After some time, the remaining participants were already defeated. Only 2 remained alive. 3 minutes later, the second participant decided to rest a little before moving to the 4th floor. When he moved to the 4th floor, he realized that he wouldn't be able to hold out here for long, but this was still the best result. He lasted 48 seconds, and people admired him as he emerged from the tower. His subordinate said that his boss was the first one who was able to climb to the 4th floor, and his rivals still hadn't said anything. Besides him, people were also surprised that Charlie was still alive and in the tower. The crowd was in chaos. They were very surprised that the newcomer to the city had not died yet. After surviving for 1 minute on the 4th floor, Charlie earned 400 silver coins. Jessica's group admitted that he was indeed strong. They were worried that he would be killed by a wolf. It seemed that the people at the city gate had gone crazy. In the conversations of people in the crowd, it was said that they seemed to have begun to recognize him as the legendary hero. Because Charlie was on Lucy's broadcast, he thought that no one should guess who the legendary hero is and doesn't want to reveal his identity. He wouldn't be able to climb many floors, so Charlie decided that 5 floors would be enough. When the guy came out of the tower, a crowd of people gathered around him and surrounded him. Henry came up to him and said that he was amazing. He made it to the 5th floor. The boy began to beg him to teach him and make him stronger. Then one of the participants approached Charlie and said that it was impossible to reach the 5th floor just by running and escaping. His equipment was worse than that of the other participants. He said that Charlie was a liar, this was his territory, so he ordered him to speak faster. The hero answered him and said that he was not obliged to answer his questions, but he would say something. He ordered him not to scream. From now on, this was no longer their territory. When Charlie left, the guy's mind was filled with the idea that their main city, a range of services, and he was the only player in the world who had been to the 5th floor. People were guessing who he was. Guys came to the forum and asked to find information about him. Charlie then approached the girl at the gate, who asked him to register his team. Charlie thought to himself that he wanted to register her, especially since the team needed at least 4 people. He remembered that on the way to the city, Jessica's group had talked about wanting to form a team. The guy told the company that he wanted to create a team to get a reward. He asked the group to do him a favor. At first, Jill refused this, but Charlie answered her and said that he could go alone, but he wanted to help them. No matter who was bullying them, he would help them get out. Jessica replied that they could help him with the request, but they didn't need any equipment from him. After that, they all went to the registration table together and got ready to register the team. To register a team, they had to pay 40 silver coins, but the team didn't have that kind of money, so Charlie offered to pay for it himself. 5 minutes later, Team Wild Wave was officially formed, and they could now head to the Demon Slayer's tower. Jessica said that they would go with him. They were indeed weaker, but they could help him somehow. There were a lot of spectators in the square. Didn't they have anything else to do? The crowd saw Charlie enter the tower alone and were again very surprised. Jill said that there was a boss in the tower. Would the hero be able to climb to the 2nd floor? Henry replied that judging by his behavior, he would definitely deal with him. 4 minutes later, Charlie was already on the 2nd floor, the crowd rejoicing at his success. Amber's friend was watching all this and told her that some stranger had managed to break the previous record holder's record. The girl said that maybe this anonymous person is that player. Amber said that this can't be. When the anonymous player conquered the tower, Charlie was on the live broadcast. Suddenly, the manager came into the girl's office and said that they had helped her complete the mission and invited them to play. The manager's assistants, who were dissatisfied with the way their former allies had treated them, entered the office with him. At this time, Charlie was already on the 3rd level of the tower and said that it was not that difficult. And now, he would even get a reward. Henry said that Charlie is too cool. He is already on the 3rd floor and has received the 1st rank, and he also leads the team. He has become the guy's idol. As soon as Charlie left the tower, people started calling him incredibly cool. Jessica invited the hero to go to the station and take a look, to which Charlie responded and said that he did not really want to join the team. He did not have the strength for it. When he started to leave, Jill asked him if they could meet again in the future and level up. When the team was left with just 3, they listened to conversations about how strong they were. Henry was happy to be a member of the strongest guild in the game, and Jessica was now the team's 2nd in command. The girl said that everything that was happening seemed so unreal. There were only 4 people on the team. Jill said that the team captain doesn't want to worry about it, but they will. The guild's name is on the big screen, and this is a good chance to get new members. They didn't harm anyone can join them, and in the end, they will level up and complete quests together. Only now did Charlie remember that now his appearance was his real appearance and Amber could recognize him. Then Henry caught up with the guy and wanted to discuss team matters, and Charlie allowed them to do whatever they wanted. The guy picked out an interesting mask for himself and was interested in what his sister was doing. At this time, Amber and her allies were meeting with enemies. The manager told his rivals not to deceive people. Their people did not provoke the girl into conflict at all. It was all his fault. The girl replied that she was very upset when she saw her appearance and name, so she wanted to beat her, and he bit her. Without listening to the end, the guy ordered his comrades to attack the villain. Then the boss came out and asked who the daredevil was who dared to mock his woman. Amber asked the commander what they needed to do, and he replied that everything could be left to him. Ben began to negotiate. introducing himself as the commander of the team of the same name, and that misunderstandings always arise during the game. He believes that there is no need to escalate the conflict. The boss called his command nonsense and said that it made him want to fight. Ben said he had gone as far as he needed to. The boss asked his woman what she wanted, and she replied that she wanted them to get on their knees and apologize and beg for mercy. All members of Amber and Ben's team unanimously said that there was no way this would happen. The boss said that the sky is high and the earth is vast. He will let them know something about him. In an instant, the boss swept his weapon through several players and left them unarmed. Amber said that this guy was too strong. He easily dealt with their team. She told the captain about this, but he replied that they were one team, and if they decided to fight, then they would fight. The boss said he was giving Amber one chance. If she got on her knees and begged his woman for mercy, then he would let them go. In an instant, the boss appeared above the defeated girl, but she was barely able to parry the guy's blow. After it all ended, the manager went to their team leader, hoping that he would come up with something and sort it out. During all this time, the girl received messages from someone she wants to respond to all of this. It was a stranger. He offered to help the girl, but she diligently refused. Ben returned and said that the team leader did not want to provoke the boss. Amber decided to take a break and go level up. She said not to worry about her. She got ready to leave and suggested to her comrades to go about their business. Looking at Amber leaving, Ben called the girl very naive. When the boss and his woman were left alone, they were met by Charlie, who had found them and asked if he was making fun of a player with such and such a name. The guy asked if he wanted to avenge her, if he was the brother she loved so much. The hero confirmed this and said that it was too late to apologize. When Charlie said this, the whole team immediately burst into loud laughter, and the boss asked if he really thought he could handle it. Then Amber ran up and said that she was okay and he could leave them and go. The hero responded to this and said that they were just a bunch of idiots. He would take care of her. The boss found out that the man in the mask was Charlie. The girl said that she had never seen such a selfless person before. If only he could see his face. Then the boss's subordinate came up and told him not to worry. He would kill him with one blow. Amber told Charlie to leave. They were the strongest of their guild, but he responded and said that he always sees things through to the end. The guy pounced on the hero and swung his bat at him. It was easy for Charlie to fend off this attack and hit the guy back, rendering the guy unconscious. Everyone was shocked by this. Everyone opened their mouths and said nothing. The boss couldn't believe it and said that it might be a bug. That couldn't be happening. Charlie said that if they didn't apologize, he would kill them all without exception. Seeing such impudence, the boss ordered his subordinates to attack the guy and kill him. The hero was able to easily repel this attack, causing colossal damage and knocking out several players. The boss started to panic. He didn't know what to do. The only thing that came to his mind was to escape. Charlie caught up with him and said that it was too late to run away and caught up with him with his weapon. The people who were there were talking about whether there really are people who deal with the towers of divine punishment and the demon conqueror. Charlie knocked him to the ground and said it was the boss's turn, at which point he began to apologize and asked for mercy. With one blow, Charlie knocked out the boss and turned to his woman, telling her to apologize, otherwise there would never be peace in their guild. The girl immediately fell to her knees and said that she had created unnecessary problems. Charlie said they couldn't just leave it like that, some blood would have to be shed. As a sincere apology, the girl gave Amber her bat. People looked at this deal and envied such a cool gift. Even if a person has money, he will not buy this bat, they are priceless. Amber's friend said she admired her because she knew such a powerful boss. Just one person took down an entire union. After this, Amber thanked the guy and asked him to tell her who he was. Charlie asked to be called Jackie. He is a friend of her older brother. He has not done anything special, so he cannot accept such an expensive gift from her. The guy refused the gift and said that he might lose it. He said that from now on, her problems are his problems. Anyone who dares to intimidate her is finished. The main thing is to tell him. As soon as Charlie left the battlefield, Amber's friend came up to her and said that now she no longer had anything to worry about. When Charlie returned home, he said that mana accumulates very slowly. He doesn't know what effect the mana pill that is given in the Tower of Divine Punishment every day will have. Then the hero gathered his army and headed off to further level up. 2 hours later, he was thinking about how at level 15, he had killed enough demon tigers, obtained a talent, and his attack had doubled. Then Charlie decided to look at the player rankings. The highest level on the Korean server is 14, and the Tiger King dungeon can be raised to level 15. The hero gathered his army and wanted to see the new dungeon where the 3 sacred guilds operated. At this time, Lucy's friend came up to her and said that a broadcast had started on the Korean server where they were clearing the Tiger King's dungeon. It seemed they wanted to give them a beating. The highest level is 14, which is one higher than on their server. It would be good to cooperate with them. They don't have any information about the dungeon. Whether they will surpass them depends on the decisions Charlie and Jackie make. At this time, Charlie also went through the dungeon and killed the monsters that filled these lands. From these monsters, the guy got green boots and decided to try them out. These boots were amazing. He tried fighting monsters, and the effect was amazing. After this, Charlie gathered his monsters and attacked the monsters inhabiting the dungeon. The huge tiger that was their leader did not do enough damage to inflict enough damage. At this time, Lucy was asking her friend about the characteristics of the hat she had recently found. This hat was too cool, and the girl admitted it. The strength of the team of the 3 sacred guilds increased. The Korean server started attacking them, bragging that they are the best team, saying that all the trash has been collected in China. At this time, Charlie killed the Dark Moon Tiger King and received a lot of experience and items from him. Killing the local monsters no longer required so much effort. But he didn't get any blue items, but he did get a new item that seemed pretty good. There is a hidden boss here. This is the first hidden boss on the server. Charlie wanted to deal with it quickly and get the reward. Lucy was musing at this time that they had already been cleared 5 times. This boss was indeed difficult to defeat, but it seemed like this team was very close to it. 3 minutes later, the huge boss tiger was defeated and the team was very happy about this victory. They got 3 green items from this boss. The Chinese and Japanese servers will be in trouble. Lucy said that the problem was with the 3 green items. The 3 saints had become even stronger. Her friend said that it was not even worth competing. Forming such a team in China is very difficult. The team of 3 saints had players of level 14. They were still able to clear them out. A guy from their group asked what about Charlie and his anonymous person, why they don't do anything. At this time, Charlie was busy fighting a boss, a huge tiger. When she killed him, she got 2 blue items from him and decided to check the attributes on the jacket that she had just received. He was incredibly surprised when he studied the characteristics of the equipment. Now he will wear it. He just needs pants. He's still wearing rookie pants. That won't do. To fight another hidden boss, you have to wait 10 minutes. Charlie hopes his pants fall out. On the Korean server, people were happy that they had new equipment. They told each other to be more careful and decided to try to break through. When they reach level 13, they will also break through. Once they can deal with the first boss and get the equipment, they can start the virtuoso cycle. 20 minutes later, Charlie was fighting a new secret boss, which was in the form of a lion. The monster used ice breath on the hero and froze him into a huge block. The hero easily broke free from the icy captivity and dealt a powerful blow to the boss. From him, Charlie received a sword, shoulder pads, and a robe, level 6 shards, and 2 blue items. But the pants haven't fallen out yet? Maybe the time hasn't come yet, and the 3rd hidden boss will appear a little later. After killing several hidden bosses, Charlie received a title that increased his attributes by 10%. The system asked the hero if he wanted to include his name in the rankings, and Charlie replied that he didn't want to. The next monster would appear in half an hour. The guy decided to leave the dungeon and level up there. As soon as Charlie came out of the dungeon, he met a huge crowd of people who were amazed at his equipment and admired his strength. Charlie decided to get rid of the extra attention and quickly disappear from this place. The leader of this group told his people to stop guessing and just watch and see what happens next in the server war. He opened the leaderboard and asked the time it took to clear the 3 sacred caves. One of the Korean players cleared the cave in 47 minutes and started bragging about it. They have blue weapons, and they bragged about that too. Other players who were watching this were outraged by their behavior. How could they be so arrogant? Unfortunately, they would not be able to deal with them. When Lucy learned that Charlie was able to clear the dungeon alone, she was hardly surprised because he was already the strongest on their server. The Korean player couldn't believe that Charlie was able to clear the dungeon so easily and quickly. The leader said that the official website says that you can re-enter the Tiger King's cave in 30 minutes. They will wait for the anonymous person. He will come back and they will watch him kick their ass. Lucy and her friend also wanted to see this spectacle and headed to the cave. Half an hour later, Charlie actually returned to the cave. The hero was unhappy with the fact that so many people had gathered there. Lucy thanked him for helping the Chinese players vent their anger. He was incredibly cool. Charlie apologized and asked to go through, and the people happily let him through to the entrance to the dungeon. He didn't understand why all the people were crowded there. Was there really some kind of event going on somewhere nearby? But Charlie decided not to focus on it and just hurry to get the greaves. People watched Charlie enter the dungeon via broadcast. He will succeed this time. The Holy Trinity of Koreans must watch carefully. The hero summoned his monsters and ordered them to deal with the situation quickly. After the kill, the guy's level increased. Now he can kill monsters even faster. Lucy hopes the anonymous person can clear the cave even faster. The girl's friend said things were bad. News came from the Korean side. The Holy Trinity borrowed equipment from a friendly guild. They have bonus equipment. They are even faster than before, and that is a problem. That Korean guy bragged even more because now he cleared the dungeon in 38 minutes. They overcame the 40-minute enclosure. That's their real strength. The leader of the group in the cave said that the Korean guild borrowed equipment from a friendly guild, and the anonymous person would not be able to beat their record. Charlie was sure that after killing the boss of the 3rd level, pants would drop. After some time, Charlie finally killed the boss and received a huge amount of experience and items as a reward. And as he thought, he received the leggings that dropped from the boss. He also received purple gear, and purple gear dropped from it. Charlie then asked the system to show the attributes of the greaves and the tiger's tears. Dual swords, each with its own attribute, similar but still cool. More than 40 minutes had already passed. The people outside were disappointed and were already thinking that the Koreans had won. But in the end, as it turned out, Charlie was able to defeat the boss in 38 minutes. And this was a world record for the servers, and the anonymous player took first place on the leaderboard. Then Charlie himself came out and startled Lucy, who was looking at the list of leaders. People immediately started praising him and talking about how strong he was. Lucy also said that he was so handsome. They asked him to show them the purple gear he dropped from the boss. Charlie showed information about his swords, and it really surprised the players. It was the first purple equipment on the server. He said he would be back in half an hour. People were still admiring the player. He would then go level up again. As soon as Charlie was about to leave, someone from the crowd asked why he was clearing the dungeons. 40 minutes later, people were saying that the Holy Trinity had cleared the cave in 36 minutes, and people were hoping that the anonymous person could beat their record. At this time, Charlie was again busy fighting the dungeon boss. His dungeon clear time decreased again. He admitted that the weapon was very convenient to use. This time, he got 23 pieces of green equipment, 11 pieces of blue, 1 tier, several materials, and a lot of experience. Lucy was happy that the anonymous player had managed to set a server record again, but her friend said that 4 guilds form teams of 5 people, and they swear they will beat them. The girl immediately encouraged her friend and said that next time the anonymous person would be even faster. 40 minutes later, Charlie emerged from the dungeon, now having completed the dungeon in less than 10 minutes. People started to think that he was killed by monsters, but that's not like him. At first, it was very weak monsters. Then Charlie started talking to himself. He said that he died because of his own stupidity. He checked his equipment and accidentally said to get out, and this was regarded as the completion of the mission. Lucy asked him again about what he had just said. She opened the leaderboard and saw that the anonymous person had cleared the dungeon in 9 minutes. The people began to rejoice. This was a victory in the race for the record. Those Korean players were shocked and said it was an impossible record. The gap is too big. They won't be able to beat his record no matter how hard they try. Charlie spent the entire time beating himself up for making such a stupid mistake. The guys couldn't understand why the anonymous person was scolding himself for such an excellent result. Charlie talked about how he cleared the dungeon 4 times alone and decided to stay there and sell the equipment. A window popped up in front of his eyes, telling him that he had a bonus valid for 24 hours. He decided to sell the equipment under the guild's name, white equipment at market price, green a little more expensive, perfect for dungeons. Purple equipment requires level 15. No one will know their true value if he sells them now. Next comes the blue-colored materials, the blood of the shining tiger. He doesn't understand why it is needed. As it turns out, the materials are very necessary for people. Charlie already has over 1,000, which means the materials are very valuable. 15 minutes later, he already had 500,000 in his balance. He still had materials left, he had a lot of money, no need to relax. At first, Charlie decided to return to the mountain home, fight the divine monsters so that his level would rise more slowly, he would level up more, and therefore receive more. Suddenly, Alex called him and said that he wanted to buy materials from him, but he didn't need to worry. They would double the price. He also said that his identity has been revealed and someone offline will see that it is him. Charlie really enjoyed making so much money at once. This game is just great, but you have to be careful. Charlie asked Alex to help him and his sister escape for a while, and as a thank you, they wouldn't have to pay double the price for the materials. Alex's assistant said that there is now a small gap in their national and international servers. He is afraid that if the servers merge, they will suppress them. The next day, Charlie checked his balance and had over 2 million in cash, plus the 3 million he had received before. Meanwhile, the Korean server players have all gathered together. Their mission today is to prevent the anonymous player from earning double experience. He always levels up in the Tiger Cave. They will wait for him at the entrance. The leader ordered the summoners to be sure to cast a soul spell on him so that when he was in control of his squad, he would not be able to ask for help or leave the battle. All for the sake of Korea being able to defeat China in the future, they must complete this mission. It will be great if they can loot his equipment. Razor's subordinate suggested leaving the anonymous one. He clears dungeons faster than anyone else, and the Chinese server also has divine animals and some secret skills. The main force came forward. They ordered the attack on the Chinese players, and the leaders were responsible for the murder of the anonymous person. Before setting out to search for the anonymous person, they decided to hide their names. Charlie hadn't slept all night at this time, decided to clear the dungeon one more time and then go to rest. He noticed that there were people in the forest, hiding and running from place to place. This is bad. After completing the dungeon, Charlie decided to rest in it and take a nap. The people outside were waiting for him to come out. More than 40 minutes had already passed, and there was not a single rustle. Razor told the warriors not to worry. Their attack strategy was good. The Chinese wouldn't be able to level up that quickly. At this time, Lucy was talking about another group with hidden names attacking other players. How many times this has happened already? She checked the information on the official website. This is happening not only in their region, the entire Chinese server is in danger. These people probably came, and these are foreign players who are looking for them. Suddenly, some guy attacked the girl from behind while she was talking to her friend. There were a lot of foreign players on the battlefield, which really irritated the girl. After some time, Razor said that he didn't expect that all countries would send a total of 400,000 elites to attack China. Now they won't be able to level up. Lucy left the game and tried to contact Charlie and the anonymous person. They need help. At this time, Charlie woke up. He slept very well in the dungeon. He was a bit hungry. After this, Charlie felt that foreign players were killing players all over the server to prevent the Chinese from leveling up. Then, when he left the game, his sister called him and complained that the shards that the guild gave her exploded, and her pants with poison also exploded. This was done by foreign players. She says that the guild leader had high hopes for her, and during the double experience period, he gave her good equipment and told her to level up. But her equipment exploded. Her brother answered her and told her not to cry. It was just equipment. He wanted to help her. The girl replied that these foreigners are too pathetic. They use skills to guard the corpses of players. Charlie asked where her body was. His friend would save her. At this time, a subordinate told Razor that another team had come to rescue the anonymous person. This time it consisted of 400 players, to which he replied, "Just kill everyone." Charlie's team also participated on the battlefield. They talked about how if people can, then let them be reborn. They must save the anonymous person at any cost. Henry said that their opponents were too strong and they couldn't fight at full strength, to which Jessica responded and said that they had to reduce the pressure on the anonymous person at any cost. Then Charlie himself appeared, coming to the aid of his comrades who were protecting him. People were delighted to see him, and hope appeared in their eyes. Razor also saw him and ordered his squad to quickly kill him and turn him into a pile of ash. They all pounced on the guy at once, but were unable to cause any damage. Razor couldn't believe it. He said it was impossible, and silence reigned in the crowd. Jessica and Henry said that their guild leader is incredibly cool. Razor thought to himself that the only difference between them and the Chinese players was the power of the divine beasts. Charlie thanked the people who protected him and said that he would return everything they lost 100-fold. In an instant, he struck several dozen players at once with incredible speed. The enemies could not see these attacks. Vice President Razor said that if their president was dead, then he was still there. Charlie responded to this and said that everything he was saying was complete nonsense and killed him. Lucy and her friend also admired the anonymous man, his speed and strength. He would be able to restore order on the battlefield. The guy said that he needed to leave for a minute and asked to save the equipment dropped by the enemies. He said he was using the gear as bait. Then he thanked the crowd and said to himself that now he had to save his sister. At this time, Amber hoped that her brother's friend would not come. There were a lot of foreign players here, all of them experts. The next moment, Charlie appeared and fought off the attacks of the foreigners who were heading towards his sister. The girl was very surprised by his appearance, which made her mouth drop open. She acknowledged his superhuman strength. After that, Charlie gave her the things and said that now they belonged to her. They would cover the pieces they had lost and much more. The girl tried to thank the guy, but he said that if he wanted to thank her, he should thank his brother. Then Charlie headed back to the entrance of the dungeon, where his comrades were waiting for him, having collected all the equipment. He was going to make a bait with which he would finish off the foreigners. Lucy was surprised that Charlie had the Tiger Tear sword. It was incredibly surprising to all of them. She told her comrades that they needed to notify the overseas servers. Didn't they claim that hundreds of thousands of elites had come to the Chinese server to kill them? While broadcasting to the other servers, they showed the Tiger Tear's sword and began to harass and provoke them. At this time, in the Three Saints Guild, Razor was telling his boss that a huge number of killed players were surrounded in a certain area. Their guys checked. They left 2 Tiger Tear swords there. Lucy pointed to the players from foreign servers who were returning one after another. It wasn't just players from foreign servers, but also players from other zones who were gathering to watch. Charlie ordered the men to gather all their weapons and attack. Jessica answered him and told him to be careful. To face so many players, Charlie stood alone against everyone. He used one attack that hit multiple players at once and created a huge sphere around them. They said that this guy is incredibly scary, this divine beast is really strong, so many people and no one can handle him. His comrades watched as Charlie mowed down his enemies like grass, and they were very lucky that he was one of them. Then, Charlie started asking other players if they were the ones who attacked players during the Double Experience event in China. Razor asked the hero why he was so arrogant. He only relies on divine beasts, and if they had a divine beast, he would not be so arrogant. Charlie thought to himself that it seemed like they only thought he was so strong because of the divine beasts. He asked Razor if he thought their level would have been higher if it weren't for the delay caused by the server-wide quest, to which Razor responded and said that it didn't matter. Charlie said it was just a game. He didn't plan to take it so seriously, but it made him angry. He wants to teach them a lesson. They have 5 days to pay compensation to the affected players. Razor and his subordinates immediately began insulting him. They are not going to apologize under any circumstances. Charlie said he was willing to bet they would come and apologize in less than 5 days. That's all he wanted to tell them. The next moment, Charlie attacked him and his subordinates. Lucy said that the anonymous person was her idol, but Jessica added that because they were causing such a disturbance, their plan to catch up with the foreign servers in terms of level had failed. Charlie then left the game and plans to return with renewed vigor the next day. The next day, Charlie thought to himself that although he had missed the opportunity to make money in the Tiger's dungeon, what they said was true, those who dared to insult China would be dead. The entrance to the Lost Garden of Eden was supposed to be near Charlie. He found a column that was the entrance to this Garden of Eden, with the help of which Charlie is going to deal with the enemy servers. A system notification appeared in front of other players, informing them that a server merge quest had been activated. Players on the Korean server were saying that they had a divine beast and that the quest itself was about capturing the divine beast. Charlie thought that one person could hold off 10,000 enemies. He would stay there and watch how the other players would do it. After some time, the players still made progress in searching for the entrance to the Garden of Eden. There are many of them, so they will find it soon. Razor talked about having his people turn on the broadcast so that other servers could watch them fight the divine beasts. Lucy looked at this and said that this was bad. They would become stronger and stronger. Razor said he was sure the Chinese were already disappointed and that they had one last trump card up their sleeve. At the entrance to the garden stood Charlie, who said that in order to get through the Garden of Eden, they must first deal with him. Razor immediately recognized him as anonymous and was very scared. They didn't understand how he ended up there. Charlie's comrades began to admire him for taking such action. He wanted to take revenge for the damage to his server. Razor said that the fog reduces the attributes of his equipment and causes it to corrode. He has been here longer than them, so they have a chance. The next moment, the Korean players all piled on one single player. Charlie was thinking to himself that the fog was giving him promotions because he was a monster. Lucy noticed that the Anonymous's damage had increased. The fog had no effect on him, and that was strange. People didn't understand why he became even stronger. The fog still didn't have any negative effect on him. Charlie was finally convinced that he could kill everyone and they had no chance. Charlie's team talked about how incredibly tough he was, how he could hold his own against 10,000 enemies, like a one-man army. His sister also watched his battle and silently said that the anonymous man was too strong. An hour later, Charlie was still fighting, saying that the fog was eating up the equipment's duration too quickly. Other players were shouting that he was too strong even without a weapon, they had no chance. Then the head of the Korean server was brought to him, and he replied that he was not negotiating, the time had not yet run out. Razor asked him if he knew who they were in real life, and Charlie replied that he didn't care. Let them either leave or die. This negotiator said that he would rather leave if there were no negotiations. At night, Charlie ordered his dragon to wake him up if anything happened. The next day in his bed, Charlie was incredibly happy. They didn't even try again. Then everything was even easier. This time, he believes that the fog has already spread to the main city. It was already impossible to be in the Korean city, and very soon they wouldn't even be able to be on the server. Official representatives of the Korean Guild Union appeared before Charlie and offered their deepest apologies for those who offended him. The Chinese players were jubilant. They were incredibly happy about everything that was happening. They really liked it. Charlie raised his sword and said that they, the 7 nations, attacked China and thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Razor was shouting about the anonymous person breaking the rules of the game, and he replied that when they attacked China, they apparently didn't think about that. The chairman of the Korean Guild asked the guy if he should just leave the server. Charlie replied that it would depend on their sincerity and sent him away. The chairman suggested discussing everything and stopping. Razor suggested joining forces with other forces and seeing what they could do. After some time, Lucy launched a live broadcast, which was requested by the chairman of the Japanese Server Guild, who had previously tried to invade Chinese lands and were standing opposite her. The players standing behind the girl fell to their knees and began to apologize for the previous incident. The anonymous person's comrades said that he was great and that he would soon come for them. To express their apologies, the guys provide them with the equipment they collected, hoping that this can somehow compensate for the losses of the Chinese players. They provided a list that their team will compensate their region, and the same compensation will be provided to other regions. The girl turned to the camera and said that the Chinese server is not so easy to bully. Guilds from the other 5 countries have been trying to contact her. It looks like they won't have to worry about equipment anymore. She will contact the Chinese guild to distribute the equipment equally. At the headquarters of the Korean Guild, they said that this could not continue. The main city was shrouded in fog, and they could not do anything. Ultimately, the heads of the Korean servers appeared before an anonymous source and admitted that they were wrong, and they wanted to apologize and compensate for the losses. Charlie said he couldn't let them go. He helped them open the poison mist forest, so in addition to the compensation that other countries had already provided, he wanted the 4 divine beasts. He said no negotiations. If it weren't for him, they would never have found the poison fog forest, so there was no need to make him regret it. In the end, the leader agreed, and Charlie told them to go and inform the Chinese server and have the guilds send their people. Then the Wild Wave Guild came, and its members started talking about how incredibly cool Charlie was. He said he would take them inside to get the divine beasts, and Henry asked him if they needed to guard the entrance. Charlie replied that it was not necessary. He would see if they could keep their promise. An hour later, Charlie and the guild left, and Razor and his comrade breathed a sigh of relief. The guy called Razor inside and asked someone to provide compensation to China. The next morning, Charlie was talking about how the past 2 days had been quite tiring and that he could finally recover. His right leg is almost healed, but his left leg needs a little more time. It will heal after he increases his level. Charlie decided to check the trading platform first. He is sure that after the compensation, the prices for equipment dropped by a huge percentage. After that, he gathered his warriors and got ready to go and catch another hellish banshee, then go to the tiger's cave and sell this equipment. After clearing the dungeon 9 times, he spent a lot on materials and leveled up 1 level, but he can no longer enter the tiger dungeon. There were so many materials and equipment to sell that his head was already hurting, so he just decided to put everything up for auction. On behalf of the Wild Wave Guild, he will send out a broadcast that the auction begins this evening. People from the server received this newsletter, and they were very happy with the news that he was selling new equipment. That evening, Charlie met everyone in the auction hall and thanked them for coming. They were all busy leveling up, so they had no time to waste. He decided to start with mithril swords and was surprised that they were so popular. Then he took out several sets of dark frost. This time he sells 2 pieces and decided to show the attributes. The guy revealed the armor's stats and surprised everyone in the room. The drops from the second secret boss are indeed different from regular gear. A guy responded to this equipment and offered 100,000, which was the highest bid. This set was sold to this guy, then he sells 3 sets of different armor and wanted to show their attributes again. The Tiger Dungeon sets are quite comprehensive and probably very high quality. He then sold Tiger Tier swords, which are highly prized in the game. It's truly worthy of being a purple gear. Both the attributes and special effects are just insane. Not everyone can afford such luxury. Next, 60 drops of tiger blood and 20 tiger heads. Today, someone will have great luck. After some time, the auction finally ended. He sold everything and decided to see how much he got. For the entire auction, Charlie received about 14 million in money. He and Amber are no longer poor. His leg was also finally healed. Tomorrow, he could finally buy a big villa and surprise her. Initially, when he first entered the game, he thought he would earn 3,000 to 4,000 a month. This would be enough to improve his life and the life of his sister, who would have thought that he would earn 10 million. When Charlie arrived at the residence, he saw a realtor girl offering to buy his grandfather their houses. She said that their houses were definitely the best, and he said that they were also the most expensive. Her co-workers said there was no point in being good-looking if she couldn't sell houses. But another heard that a manager wanted to sleep with her, but she turned him down. When the girl failed, they made fun of her. They said that she would not be able to sell the house to anyone, even at a discount. The girl greeted Charlie. She asked if he wanted to see middle or high-class apartments. He replied that he came to see villas. Suddenly, Charlie recognized this girl as his classmate from high school. She became a consultant. She said that their villas are fully decorated and ready for sale. I asked where his car was so I could get to the villa, but Charlie replied that he didn't have a car. These girls were saying that he doesn't even have a car and that he wants to buy a villa in their housing company, which would be very strange if the deal actually goes through. Gwen said that the villa area was far enough away that if he didn't mind, they could ride her electric scooter. On the way, Charlie asked her why she didn't recognize him, because he was her classmate. She answered and said that she heard that he was paralyzed, but he replied that he was much better now. The girl said that the manager was deliberately making her life difficult, and it looked like she wouldn't be able to stay in this job for long. Charlie decided to call his friend and ask about the manager's problem. He was reminded about the card he was given, and their regional manager would definitely find him. He was told that it was nothing special, and if he had not intervened, even the CEO would have had to pack his things and leave. When Charlie got to the villa, its value was 8 million, and he agreed. Another girl told the manager that this guy is definitely not here to buy a house, he doesn't even have a car, and his relationship with Gwen is clearly not friendly. The manager said that it looked like Charlie was Gwen's boyfriend and had come to stand up for her, and the guy didn't deny it. The manager said that the guy doesn't understand whose territory it is. He's just a brat, so he won't be able to change the current situation. He can just throw him out. Then Charlie took out the diamond card and showed it to the manager. He said he had never seen anything like it. The hero replied that it was normal that people of his level had not seen this map, let him ask his supervisor, and then he would understand. After this, the manager called his boss and asked if he had ever heard of a diamond card. His boss said that he would deal with this client personally and that he would arrive soon. Suddenly, some men armed with bats burst into the room and began asking who dared to cause trouble. The manager immediately started to chase them away, and the leader said that wasn't it he who asked them to come over. When they left, he began to apologize to Charlie and said that he was wrong. If he could forgive him, then let him forgive him. The girl was surprised that the manager started crying. Apparently, the situation was really serious. Charlie told him to wait until his boss came. He would talk to him personally. A brat like him had no right to talk to them. The next moment, regional manager Hank arrived and started asking who this important person with the diamond card was. Charlie told him that there was one problem that he hoped he could solve. After this, Hank turned to the manager and said that he was fired. Their company could not afford to have an employee like him. And he also fired the girl who bullied Gwen. He told her to take her salary and get lost. Then he turned to Gwen and said that she was now the manager. Hank leaned over to Charlie and apologized for the bad experience he had buying a house from their company and offered him an additional discount in addition to the card. Charlie was thrilled that with these discounts he could now save millions on his home purchase. Once it was over, Gwen thanked Charlie and asked if he was playing a game that was quite popular right now. Charlie replied that of course he was playing and that perhaps they would meet if it was meant to be. When Charlie returned to the game, he was already level 17 and could no longer level up using the tiger. He'll kill 1,000 banshees before he finds a good point to level up. As soon as he finished with them, he saw a stone gate, which, as he thought, led to a new map. There was a little girl sitting at the gate who complained that she was unhappy and asked for help. Charlie asked her if she had any quests for him. She replied that she did, but he had to do them alone. Resurrected spirits appeared before him, all of them level 22. This elite quest is quite difficult. When Charlie tried to attack the monsters, he realized that none of Charlie's attacks worked on them. Of all the types of attacks, only magical attacks that deal damage worked on them. He can only activate the special effect of Tiger Tears, which turns physical attacks into magical ones. When Charlie did this, a huge number of attacks began to be dealt to the monsters. The hero admitted that it was difficult to kill them alone. However, the thing he received was called the Scorpion Essence. With it, the spirit of the beasts could grow. The tiger is coming down the mountain, and his roar takes too long to recharge. 250 pieces will take a long time. 10 hours later, Charlie completed the quest, and the girl thanked him. He received an ancient heart, and he would finally be able to increase his attributes. When he tried to use the ancient heart, the system said that his skin could not withstand the energy of the stars and asked him to remove his human form. He took off his human form and the little girl started crying because she was scared by the monster's form. Using the ancient heart, he decided to check the attributes. He gained level 18, one level 5 shard, all attributes including damage and armor increased. Charlie asked the girl not to cry, it was creepy, and asked her to tell him about the next quest. In the end, he decided to turn back into a human. Is he really that ugly? He is a ghost after all. When he turned back into a human, the girl said that he could kill 3,000 spirits and complete the task. The guy was incredibly scared by so many monsters because they were so difficult to kill. Charlie accepted the assignment and said that the girl was ruthless. To deal with them, he decided to unite with the Banshee bloodline, then he would have at least some magical damage. After the unification, flying fire skulls appeared in his use. Now he can attack 6 at once, which is much more effective. While he was clearing out monsters, he decided to check out the progress of other players. They were leveling up quite quickly. Some of them were already level 16, and he hoped they would drop good equipment for him. 3 days later, Charlie finally completed this quest and reached level 19. He was sorry that no equipment dropped. He would go further. Beyond the gate, suddenly there were some quests there. When he went outside the gate, he noticed some kind of structure in which there were a bunch of monsters. Inside this structure, there was a huge pentagram filled with a crowd of monsters. It looks like they are greeting someone. Everyone is kneeling and bowing their heads. In the midst of these monsters came a huge leader, whom Charlie did not want to mess with at any cost. He began to talk about the god of the undead accepting his sacrifice and striking the ground with his sword. They sacrifice each other, their boss is too cool, Charlie can't beat him and decided to just continue looking for the quest. With the ancient fragments, Charlie will be able to enhance 2 more of his talents. He chose Werewolf Critical Strike and Tiger Demon Combo Attack. He was happy that he got a triple critical hit and a triple combo. He needs to quickly take the quest to earn ancient fragments. When Charlie asked if the little girl needed any more help, she replied that she didn't want to burden him with her problems any longer. He said that danger is his love, he is ready for anything, and the girl finally agreed and said to listen. The quest involved stealing mana and then getting 100,000 mana, which would be enough to raise a divine beast, a pretty good reward. Sanabe's hadn't shown up yet. Charlie was thinking about how he could steal the mana. Maybe he needed to get closer somehow. As he thought there was a loophole in the quest, probably so that players could collect mana, he decided to meditate and improve himself. Suddenly, Sanabe's appeared, but Charlie had not yet managed to gather enough mana. To avoid being noticed, the boy began to pray to all known gods, asking them to bless him. At some point, Sanabe's asked why the effect of the ability was stronger than he expected. Maybe there was someone else here who would interfere with him. When Charlie finished, he immediately ran from the ritual field. He needed to retreat as quickly as possible. He handed over the quest to the girl, and she thanked him. She asked to kill Sanabe's as the next quest. Charlie replied that she should find someone else to complete the quest. The girl began to calm him down and said that as soon as he stole the mana from Sanabe's, he would only have 1/10 of his strength left. Once Sanabe's is killed, the Gate of the Dead will open, which is an important step in finding the Gate of Ragnarok. In the end, the guy agreed to complete this quest, and the girl said that she would help him. The boss and monsters were not there. He asked what skills the boss had. He was asking in order to think through battle tactics. At some point, the girl simply jumped off the cliff and headed to the battlefield. The guy followed her and couldn't leave her alone with such a strong monster. There was some kind of core in the center of the formation, and the girl said not to touch it. She asked if he knew about the 3 divine cores. The 3 divine cores are the energy core of the world. The crimson core is the core of avoiding the world. All of them have tremendous power. Charlie said she couldn't take him out now, so she needed to deal with Sanabe's first. He asked if she could reflect his attacks, and he would simply attack, to which the girl replied that she could not withstand a single attack of his. When she talked about weakness, she meant his attack speed and spellcasting speed. They need to move quickly to avoid his attacks. Be that as it may, Charlie will risk everything for money. Asked how the girl would help him. She replied that she would help when he needed it. Finally, Charlie headed towards the boss with the intention of killing. He began to attack and strike with his sword. He may be big, but he clearly doesn't have much health. 30,000 at most, considering he took out about a quarter of it while attacking him. The girl warned him to be careful. He was going to attack back. This was a yellow class combat technique. Charlie was delighted with this use and said that he could buy instructions on how to use it. At that moment, the guy bought a scroll with a brief description of the yellow rank martial art and used it. Charlie dodged the attack that was heading towards the guy. It was a huge wave of energy. He said that he would not split into 2 pieces, even if the boss hit him with his sword. The girl started screaming that now was the time to turn around and attack. In an instant, Charlie began to attack the boss with tremendous force and speed, and also reinforced it with fire. Then the boss began to defend himself, and the hero was able to successfully dodge his attack. Sanabe's then prepared to use a stronger ability and raised his sword. The girl said that this was a magical skill that covered the entire battlefield. He needed to run faster to the entrance. When Charlie learned that this was a mystical level skill, he wanted it for himself too. He said that this mission was in no way intended for humans. 8 minutes later, the battle continued. Charlie's stamina was running low. The girl started screaming and asking him to promise that he would avenge her and her family. Suddenly, his stamina was restored. His whole body was surrounded by golden light. To finish the battle, he used the final blow and was about to blow it up. And finally, the fight with the boss was over. He fell dead to the ground. As a reward for the murder, he received a scroll of a mystical rank technique, but since the girl died, who should he hand over the quest to? Suddenly, the girl somehow resurrected. She thanked him for avenging her. She turned into a spiritual body. If Charlie does not mind, can she accompany him? Charlie received a purple class ghost pet and asked to show his attributes. She was immune to all physical attacks and invisibility. She could even possess a body and increase movement speed or use a boost zone. Charlie asked her what the key to the Gate of the Dead was for. The girl replied that it could open the gate of the 50th level. The most important function of the dungeon source is to receive, store, and combine various creatures. When someone dies in the dungeon, some part of his essence is retained and stored in the dungeon. When Charlie opened his inventory, he noticed that the essence he had had deteriorated. Its stats had dropped. At first, Charlie decided to return home and feed the divine beasts. The hero's inventory contained an incredible amount of materials, including a lot of rare, high-quality materials. He also reached level 19 and earned a lot, so he needs to use all these items as soon as possible. He finally has a suitable magic attack. Then we are taken to the battle between Jessica and Bill. They were having a duel. Henry and Jill watched this fight, and Henry admitted that their leader had a lot of strength. Jill said that the difference between their levels was still huge. Bill told his opponent that he was sorry that he didn't want to play with her anymore. Quick, crushing blows flew across the girl's body, but she tried to block them. Bill said she was worthless. This witch also showed that the wild waves do not live up to their reputation. Jessica said that this fight was between just the two of them, so why did he start talking about wild waves? She said that from this moment she was leaving her guild. He defeated her in this battle, but this does not mean that his guild won. The guy answered and said that their guild was very worthless. If she wanted to leave, then let her leave. The girl responded to her friends and said that she did not want to be insulted by wild waves so often. Then Charlie appeared and asked if he had given her permission to leave his guild. Everyone present was very surprised by his appearance. The girl was delighted to see the leader and apologized for bringing shame on the guild. Charlie said that it was he who should ask for forgiveness and asked that it be left to him. Bill said that today either his guild will destroy his guild or they will leave the server. People watching the fight did not understand why the anonymous person was acting so arrogantly. Bill asked him if he thought the situation hadn't changed in the last 10 days and asked him to let him say that he was the first person to climb to the 8th floor of the tower. The hero said that they were meeting outside the city where they would settle everything with a duel. Bill replied that he was afraid that he would not be able to keep his promise. People from the crowd also went out of town to watch this magnificent fight. Once everyone was in place, huge crowds had gathered on both sides of the opposition. Someone said that the wild wave side doesn't look very good and they don't have enough masculine strength. Here, Bill began to broadcast his speech. He said that if they lose, they will leave the zone forever. Jessica also lined up her fighters. She lined them up evenly and ordered them to listen to her command. Henry asked if this was a team fight, but Charlie replied that he alone would be enough for this battle. Today, he wants to clarify something. He ordered not to touch his people. Bill responded to him and said that he constantly looks down on people. They want to put him in his place. There were 200 more people in their ranks. The guy ordered to kill him. Charlie thought to himself that he could kill 1,000 dead souls with just one swing. He didn't believe that his magical armor was higher than his. At this time, people continued to talk about how the anonymous person had become overconfident, but no one dared to confront him face to face. Jill asked Jessica if their leader could win, and the girl replied that she thought that even in this situation, the guild leader was a little overconfident. Bill asked his opponent if he dared to fight them face to face. Today he was going to tear him to pieces. People watching the fight admired the hero's new techniques. They had never seen them before. In just one use, Charlie killed dozens of people. Bill also didn't understand how he managed to do it in just one swing of the sword. Charlie was still cutting people down left and right. They didn't stand a chance. After a few moments, the guy noticed that most of his people were dead. He did not understand how this was possible. They were all wrong. The anonymous person didn't disappear. He was simply in a more powerful world. Suddenly, Bill fell to the ground unconscious. The allied girls couldn't believe that 10 swings of the sword had killed everyone. With the speed of their sword play, they wouldn't have time to recover and respond. When Charlie finished, he didn't hear the shouts, screams, and applause. Instead, people just stood there in shock, speechless, unable to believe that a human could do this. The members of the Allied Guild couldn't believe the strength of their leader. Now let's see who dares to offend their guild. Then Charlie just resigned himself and headed towards the Twin Towers, going through the floors of the towers. When people saw Charlie heading towards the Twin Towers, they followed him to watch his progress. They shouted at each other to hurry up, or they would miss such a show. This time, the hero decided to clear more levels so as not to return here so often. Previously, it took several minutes to climb the floors of the towers, but Charlie went floor after floor in a matter of seconds. Lucy also came to watch. She said that to overcome the tower, the anonymous person spent only 13 seconds on the 5th floor. She began taking bets on the time to complete the floors. People were saying that the difficulty increases with each floor. Some were only able to get to the 8th floor, so they were only betting on the 12th. Jessica also participated. She bet 2,000 that he would go up to the 15th floor. Their guild leader is very strong. On the 12th floor, Charlie was happy that he could finally clear out all the monsters instantly. People were shocked that he managed to get to the 12th floor in only 3 minutes. At this time, Lucy's friend told her that other servers were saying that they were using cheats. After this, stars appeared in the girl's eyes, and she said that the anonymous person could climb even higher. Jill said that Charlie had already reached the 16th floor. It was surprising that everyone lost the bets. People stood with their mouths open and couldn't believe how much longer this would go on. Charlie went through floor after floor. The monsters died at his hands better and better. He said that he was still weak. The monsters on the 20th floor were too strong. He couldn't defeat them. The people in the crowd who watched him pass did not believe that a man was capable of such a thing. Charlie thought to himself that he was going to continue clearing the immortal pagoda. Soul Source fragments were the only way to improve the Soul Source. Reaching the 7th floor of the immortal pagoda is enough. It will take them a long time to catch up. People were already about to leave because they were disappointed in their strength, their eyes filled with envy. Suddenly, Jessica ran up to Charlie and thanked him for everything. The guy replied that there was nothing to thank him for. He was a bad leader and the guild belonged to them. He decided to take only the fragments and gave the rest to the guild members. Charlie also told her that after level 25, the role of magic increases, so she should focus on improving her magic. He said that he was already leaving. He sent a friend request and asked to add him. If Bill did not leave or if someone else would make fun of them, then let him know. As the guy walked away, Jessica watched him go and smiled, thinking that he still cared about the guild. The boys heard Charlie's words about magic and pondered the meaning of his phrase. Charlie was thinking to himself that everyone was currently clearing out the underground mine where they could get 3 blue items, but his level was too high, so it wouldn't do him any good. Opposite the underground mine, a huge number of people gathered ready to enter and clear the underground areas. These people gathered in groups for the cleanup, each of them looking for different people for their teams. Charlie decided to quietly pass by this crowd. He was looking for a hidden dungeon in this dungeon. He said the level 23rd boss wasn't worth the time. He was hoping to find a secret dungeon. Then he received notifications that there was actually a secret dungeon in this cave. After some time, Charlie found the boss of this cave. It was a level 30 zombie king. The hero thought to himself that this monster was very ugly, but it had a high level. Its level was 2 whole levels higher than his. The boss turned out to be incredibly strong compared to previous bosses. He's actually a level 30 diamond boss, taking off a quarter of Charlie's health with 1 hit. Damage to the boss was only inflicted if he was over 7,000 units, had strong armor, and at least 60,000 health. As it turned out, this monster can hide underground. At one point, the zombie dived underground and disappeared from sight. The people outside received a notification from the system that team selection had been suspended due to the opening of the 2nd level of the mine. They started talking about how there had just been an earthquake in the dungeon, and maybe someone from their server might be inside. Amber and her ally were inside. They had just defeated the boss, and the server was pausing the dungeon. Their team, without support, had worked so hard to finally become the top guild. With this pause, their progress would be delayed again. She didn't know who the guy attacking the boss was. Amber's friend said that her level increased too quickly. At the moment, only one person can attack the boss, and that person is anonymous. Amber said she had heard of him, but never seen him. This time she wanted to know what he looked like. At this time, Charlie continued to fight with the boss. He ordered the girl henchman to make him invisible. Because it hides underground, it cannot be attacked, which caused an incredible amount of problems. While he is invisible, the boss will not be able to attack him. This is a great opportunity. This time, Charlie decided he wouldn't let the zombie hit him. After an hour and a half, the boss was finally defeated, and Charlie received even more experience and equipment from him compared to the previous ones. There were a lot of useful items there. The guy decided to first check the order to replenish the dungeon. From the boss, he also received a key that opens the second level of the underground mine, which required level 25 to use. People outside received another notification that the anonymous person had managed to get through the dungeon and had opened its second floor. Amber said that they fought for so long, and the anonymous person cleared him out so easily he also destroyed the secret boss. She couldn't imagine what kind of attributes this guy had. Charlie was still invisible and was thinking that, as he thought, a whole crowd of people had gathered to see him. It was good that he had become invisible. As soon as the guy left the dungeon, he saw his sister walking towards him. Charlie thought to himself that she had good equipment, a golden sword, 2 items from the Tiger King. She seemed to be the team captain. The guy wanted to check how much health the girl had and lightly hit her. But instead of 1 hit, the girl began to take damage constantly. He started screaming in his mind for her to stop because she would not stop taking damage and would die. Eventually, the girl fell dead to the ground and Charlie immediately panicked. Then Amber's friend ran up to her and didn't understand how she could die. Who killed her? Luckily, the equipment is not lost. There is no need to tell her about what happened, otherwise she will kill him. Charlie regrets what he did. After some time, Charlie returned to the Monster Mountain and decided to build his own dungeon there. Most of the descent from the mountain will be blocked, making it easier to defend and more difficult to attack. Charlie decided to go inside first and check what it looked like inside. There wasn't a single monster. It looked like he had a lot of work ahead of him, so he decided to check the dungeon's attributes. The dungeon has a cash entry mode for 100,000 people per day, each paying 1 coin. Owning a dungeon is a good way to earn money. But copper coins are also useful. Charlie decided to use a mixed mode. At level 20, he can take 3 coins for each entry. In a day, he can earn 90,000. This is a very profitable business. Now he's taken on the monsters. Deciding to take the leopard, the reward for it is twice as high. The boss will be a zombie from the abyss, and he decided to lower the level to 20. And so the deed was done. Charlie finally opened the dungeon and began to wait for the first visitors. 15 minutes later, some players finally found Charlie's named dungeon. They said that he had not been there before. When the guy wanted to check the dungeon, he saw that it was Charlie's dungeon. He didn't know that players could create dungeons. When players asked about who Charlie was, they said that he was more mysterious than the god of war. When people traded in this area, everyone knew him. Then these guys started a broadcast in which they showed the players about the dungeon they had found, saying that it was a named dungeon. People entered the dungeon and began to receive materials and experience. The monsters aren't that hard to kill, and they dropped 2 dice. The players also killed the boss, from which they received blue equipment and yellow skills. People on the stream also wanted to find this dungeon and also get rewards from the monsters. The guy who is broadcasting said that this dungeon is cool. You can get 300 copper coins for a bone. After some time, people began to slowly leave the broadcast and log into the game to also find the dungeon. Later, these same people finally arrived at the entrance. There were a lot of people. After some time, a huge crowd formed in front of the dungeon, which gradually moved into the dungeon. Charlie at this time watched as the money came in. He admitted that his own dungeon was a great way to make money. A little later, if Charlie wants to open a second-level region, he can do it in the trading shop. He will need a lot of reputation points and then move on to a higher-level map. As the boy moved further, he came across a house in which lived an old man who said that Charlie was the first one who came to him. Charlie thought to himself that this couldn't be a game character giving out quests. The old man said that it was extremely rare to gather 2 divine beasts, but there were only 4 of them. Charlie asked him about the others, and the old man told him about the keys that were connected to the remaining 2 species. In his thoughts, the hero remembered that he had a key to the gates of the undead and the second level of the underground mine. The old man said he wouldn't go into details, so he wouldn't miss out on the fun of exploring. He was leaving soon and asked Charlie to help take care of his pet. If you think about it, his pet is an ordinary dog, not a divine beast. Eventually, Charlie agreed, and the old man thanked him for his help. After he agreed, the old man turned into a spirit and disappeared. At this time, Charlie was drinking the tea that his grandfather poured for him. This tea increased his magical attack by 50 units. But it ended quickly, and the guy was very upset. With the help of the ancient fragment and the ancient heart, Charlie will be able to improve his talent and bloodline. He decided to check the characteristics of his new pet. He was 202 years old and still considered young. Charlie asked him where the other divine beast was, and he said it was in the main city. He thought to himself that no monster would dare to approach him. Maybe that divine beast was the guardian of the main city. At this time, at the Amber Guild headquarters, the guild leader was talking about how, for the intra-guild competition, they had finally decided to use one of their non-guild members to form a team. People recognized that this was a great opportunity for advertising, where they could find someone else. The leader said they had guessed correctly. It was about expanding influence and attracting new people. This time, the competition was held in the martial arts arena. His assistant said that this time they would actively promote the competition. Lucy would host a live broadcast. If they found another qualified participant, they would receive a reward of 500 money. At this time, Amber's friend asked her if her brother was playing the game. They could invite him. Amber said that she would ask him, but she didn't think his level was too high. At this time, Charlie reached some kind of fork. He said that the battlefield was somehow connected with the ancient heart, so he decided to go there first. Did he really find that place in the area of the bloody pond? After this, the guy's sister called and asked him if he was playing the game. He replied that he was playing, but not seriously. The girl explained that tomorrow their guild would be holding a competition in the form of 2-on-2 fights in the main city. One team had to have a person from the guild, and the other one had to be from outside the guild. After the conversation ended, Charlie thought that he needed the main city for the divine beast anyway, but those words written on the pedestal scared him. The dog suggested going first. It was a rather dangerous place. Although he is young, he has already been to different places. Charlie decided to look at the monsters that could pose a threat to him. After that, he discovered bloody skeletons that caused the guy to quickly lose health. These guys can poison the blood. They put an effect on him. In the next area, Charlie encounters monster monkeys, whom he meets for the first time and does not know what talents they have. Monkeys have the talent of teleportation. He also wants this skill for himself. He really likes it. After killing the monsters, Charlie received the monkey belt, which gives good boosters. A day later, Charlie finally reached level 30. Now he can put on the purple mask that dropped after killing the Abyss King and go to the city. When he got to the city, people he met asked him where he got such a cool mask. Charlie replied that he bought it in a store. It's just a decoration. When asked to show his stats, Charlie thought to himself that he couldn't just show off his level 30 purple gear. They would be very surprised. After that, he finally found his sister, who asked him where he got such an ugly mask. The equipment in the store was bad, and the price was high. The hero replied that he thought this mask was very cool. He was already good. Why should he learn from someone else? Amber said that he was bragging. In the future, he didn't need to spend money on all sorts of nonsense. Copper coins were very necessary. In the arena, they saw pillars of light. Their damage is equal to 10,000. They appear randomly, so he must be careful. At this time, Lucy began to announce that the Amber Guild competition was beginning, and the first group of teams were invited to the arena. Jessica and Henry were in the arena. Amber asked if he knew them. He replied that they were about the same level. If they win, they can join the main team. 3 minutes later, the enemy team had won, and Jessica and Henry were lying unconscious on the ground. Amber said that it seemed like nothing worked, although they were very strong, and after these words, the girl discovered that her brother was missing. Charlie was looking for the divine beast in the arena. If he didn't know that these were rays from the arena, he would have been a little scared. A little while later, a battle between Charlie and Amber and the enemy guild was announced. Charlie was thinking in his mind about how to summon the divine beast. He had already racked his brains. People in the stands recognized the player as the god of death. He was incredibly popular in the game. Charlie's opponent said that choosing him was a stupid decision, and he hoped that when he won, he would take Charlie's mask. After this, Charlie said that no matter who Amber chose as her opponent, she was destined to become a part of the main team. The girl asked her brother who the god of death was. In response to this, he said that it did not matter since he was here. And so, finally, the fight began. Lucy counted down the last seconds. She said that Amber was a martial artist, and the masked man was not. 2 close combat fighters against 2 ranged fighters. The guys surrounded the girl and said that she had nowhere to run. Lucy told the girl standing next to her that her friend was in danger and the escape route was blocked. At this time, Charlie changed into his combat armor. In the arena, you need to choose a target to attack, or you yourself will become a target. No one has yet attacked the guy in the mask while they were changing. He did this because his equipment has certain suit skills. The guy in the cloak started launching aerial attacks at Charlie, but the guy repelled these attacks. At this time, Amber was also busy fighting her opponent, the swordsman, and was pressing him back. Lucy shouted that Amber's skill was the signature skill of the arts masters. Her opponent was in big trouble. The guy started calling his friend, and the girl started to bully him for it. Amber's team acted unexpectedly. They prevented the death god from launching an attack. This is the strength of female players. They are in no way inferior to the guys. Charlie said that his sister was not so simple, and they could not win. The girl dealt numerous blows to the guy's body, which pressed him down and prevented him from counterattacking. Suddenly, the guy said that she had not won yet, and this pillar of light was about to rise. He did not believe that she would dare to follow him. Light beams appeared on the battlefield, and the other fighters became frightened. After the battle ended, Amber congratulated her team on their victory and joining the main roster. Before leaving, the death god asked Charlie if he would fight him again, but Charlie replied that he would not fight him anymore. He offered 100,000 for one, and Amber said that was a lot. God said that his sister is very beautiful. Maybe he will ask her to come to him and take this money. He asked the guild president to take his place for a while. He would pay for it and return the money to him later. People started saying that the god of death wants to play for high stakes and that he is very angry with Charlie. Charlie told him that he seemed to be quite rich, and if he wanted to play with them, he offered to play big. He offered to play for 8 million, and the girls in the stands were left sitting in shock. Charlie said he was incredibly serious. God agreed to his conditions and said he wouldn't even be able to raise 8 million. After the agreement, the guy said to transfer the money and set the bonuses and rules of the fight. He has no time for jokes. 10 minutes later, a huge number of people had gathered from the side of the death god, and he had gathered a small army for himself. Lucy said that the death god's team is very strong and consists of 40 people, each with a set of tiger tears consisting of 3 items. The guy said that his guys had gathered and Charlie himself should look for some helpers. Amber also told him that he should call the main team, then at least they would lose less. Although she doesn't know where he is supposed to get the 8 million from, once they lose, they will be doomed to eternal work. She said that she used to think Charlie was stupid, but now she began to doubt it. He replied that she might not participate. He wanted to tell her something later, but now was the time. When the girl started to leave, Charlie said that he alone would be enough. If he could kill him, he would get 8 million, and that was a lot. Hearing this, the enemy team burst into loud laughter. They thought the guy was crazy. The next moment, Charlie turned on all abilities, all attributes, and strengthened them by 100%. Lucy said this to the whole arena. His mask turned out to be purple equipment, but he seems familiar to her. She met him somewhere. The god of death asked him if he thought that if he got the purple mask, he would win right away. Finally, Lucy began the countdown to the battle. In an instant after the fight began, Charlie simply vanished from the scene. The enemies were confused. God said that he had never seen anything like this. Charlie said to himself that this was not a technique, but a skill. Now it was his turn to attack. Lucy said that the guy canceled the sword technique. People in the stands recognized Charlie as the anonymous person. Their techniques were similar, but some couldn't believe it. Amber's friend asked the girl if her brother was the anonymous person who was considered the strongest player on the server. The girl couldn't believe it either. She couldn't believe that the man on the field was her brother. In order to find out if it was anonymous, Lucy suggested looking at his damage. Last time, the anonymous's damage was 1,200 units. In an instant, the guy hit several players at once with one move. His damage actually matched the anonymous guy's damage. Then, Charlie offered the mask to God one last time and removed the mask from his face. After this action, the arena stands burst into delighted cries. It was really him. They talked about how they should have thought about this earlier. He became even stronger. The death god's subordinate told Charlie that they were blind, asking his boss how dare he get involved with the anonymous person and drag them to the bottom. Charlie asked God if he remembered that he owed him 8 million, but the guy refused to believe it. The hero said that he gave him a chance. If he retreated, then nothing bad would have happened. He was sorry that he was too arrogant and did not want to give other people a chance. If he were not anonymous, he would have fought with him. God was saying to himself that he still had a chance, but he didn't realize that a ring of 72 pillars of heavenly flame was about to strike right under his feet. He decided to distract the guy and demonstratively began to admit that he had lost, but said that he could not afford it and asked him for forgiveness. Charlie said that he maintains his dignity himself, but unfortunately he does not know how to repent. Suddenly, the next moment, a pillar of flame hit the guy, which, according to rumors, caused a huge amount of damage. God immediately began to laugh at him and already thought that he had won. The pillar of flame did not cause enough damage to the guy, and people could not believe their eyes. It was impossible by their standards. When the pillar stopped beating, Charlie stood pompously and asked his opponent what he was laughing at. The guy couldn't believe that he was able to survive such a huge amount of damage. The people in the stands no longer considered him a human being. He had the enormous amount of health to survive this. Lucy realized that the guy had reached level 30 since he had 28,000 units of health. Amber's friend said that she was talking about her brother just messing around in the game, and it turns out he's level 30. The Death God's subordinates said that they no longer needed to strain themselves. The pillar struck twice, but he was still alive. He definitely had more health than the god. The next moment, Charlie dealt the boy a fatal blow, which killed him. Amber started yelling at her brother after his victory. He lied to her that this game was just fun for him. Then she remembered that last time she died from poisoning and asked if it was his doing. When he began to deny it, his sister began to yell at her brother and said that it was definitely him. As they were leaving the arena, Charlie began to repent. He said that it was a pure accident. He didn't mean it. Amber said he scared her to death. He answered her and said it was okay. He told her not to worry. He then turned to his friend Amber and asked if she wanted to join the Wild Wave Guild. She replied that she wasn't as good as his sister since she hadn't even made it into the guild's main team. He went up to some guy afterwards and he said that he wanted to apologize. He didn't know that Amber was his sister. Charlie said that they should take good care of his sister. In his mind, the boy was glad that he hadn't done anything bad to his sister. Otherwise, they would all have been doomed to failure. Then Lucy approached the hero and asked if he knew another great player. She said that the only one who can compete with him now is him, she thought. They fought before. If he has the opportunity to see him, then let him ask for his email. Charlie asked her if she was confessing her feelings like that. The girl replied that she was just an ordinary player. He had helped her before, and she wanted to thank him, but he didn't answer her. When Charlie left the game, he told his sister to pack her things. They were moving soon. The girl replied that she had a few soldiers and maybe the boss would call her. Suddenly, Alex called him. He said that he sent a man to pick up his sister. They are processing information about her. Alex said there have been 3 violent incidents between players in real life in the West, and they seem to have been well prepared. Charlie said to himself that he was now absolutely sure that the divine beast was under the pillars of heavenly flames, but he would not be able to defeat it. In order to level up, Charlie headed to a new area. He was thinking about how to increase his damage. When he passed by some rock, he heard the sound of water in it. Perhaps it was a secret entrance. The system said he needed to turn on the pain system. This game was getting more and more twisted. He said that you need to turn on the pain system, tune it, and then the pain can be tolerated. After setting up, he hit the rock with incredible force. It wasn't that painful. He thought that if there were more than 1,000 points, something unexpected would happen. He entered the rock and saw the internal river. It was the one babbling. Suddenly, he was attacked by monkey monsters. When I tried to hit the monsters, they turned out to be immune to magical attacks. After the monkeys died, he received 5 pieces of blue equipment. Monsters drop a lot of items, and when he kills a boss, he will explode from the amount of equipment. He also got some kind of demonic core from them, but first he decided to get rid of the monkeys. After the victory, he decided to check out what blue equipment he had received. The belt's special effect was that the speed of health recovery increased after leaving the battle. The belt improves by 1 unit, and there is also equipment that he has never seen before. Charlie decided to put it on. He was thinking to himself whether it was possible to improve equipment above level 30. What would happen if he improved the belt? Maybe the demon core would help. He decided to improve the belt by using the demonic core, sacrificing several belts. Eventually, the belt became stronger. If he had gotten more equipment that could restore health in battle, he could have strengthened it and perhaps gone to the blood pond. To test his current strength, Charlie attacked a group of monster monkeys. Half an hour later, his experience had increased by a whole third, and he also had 180 Monkey King belts. Charlie had never received so much blue equipment, and for free, too. Soon Charlie discovered the huge monkey boss. Charlie buffed himself and went into invisibility to fight the monkey boss. At this time, Amber came into his room, and Charlie asked him not to disturb him. He was fighting the boss. The girl wanted to watch her brother fight bosses of his level. She said that this boss is very big, and he is alone with him. The guy calmed her down and said that he is strong. Amber said he was crazy. He could deal 15,000 damage and restore 7,000 health with just one hit. While the hero's invisibility was recharging, he decided to retreat for a while. He had just the right skill. But the monkey was also catching up with the guy. When he reached a certain spot, Charlie launched a barrage of blows at him, causing him critical damage. 2 minutes later, the boss was already lying dead on the ground, from which Charlie received level 6 shards, purple and blue equipment, 5 pieces of each. Amber said he got some really good stuff: purple boots, a blue ring, a beast core, and a bunch of material. The girl was shocked when her brother found the first purple boots on the server. They checked the characteristics of these boots, and they had a special acceleration effect. His talent is acceleration. It turns out that Charlie has 2 of them. The hero decided to check how it all works and was very happy when he received lightning speed at his disposal. Amber asked him how he got so fast, and Charlie asked what he looked like in his new purple boots. She replied that it was very beautiful. The girl couldn't keep up with his speed with her eyes. She wondered where he got so many boots and purple gear in general. When he mentioned upgrading his equipment, it turned out the girl hadn't heard anything about it. Charlie said that he would tell her about it in detail later. The equipment attributes become stronger each time. He showed her the blue ring that he was going to give to his sister and decided to see if it could be strengthened. Amber was very happy about this, and Charlie took out another ring, which was strengthened by 3 units. She said that she was still far from level 30 and that she would only be able to watch, not play. Her brother encouraged her and said that since she joined his guild, his members would help her with leveling. She said that her brother was too strong. So he was her brother. He suggested they have lunch and then pack their things. They were moving. Charlie threw away the rice cooker, and Amber said that it was still usable. They had been using it for years. It was time to throw it away. She seemed to have forgotten that her brother made 8 million. He said they didn't have to be so frugal anymore. They were moving from a rented apartment to a bigger house. Keeping the suspense alive, Charlie was reluctant to reveal any additional information about their new home. They arrived at the villa, and Amber stood with her mouth open at the scale of this building. Charlie said that this was the largest villa in size. Alex came up to them and said that the move was finished. So why shouldn't Charlie think about the car now? Alex said that 9 Heavens has been active for 50 days now, and in honor of this, it was decided to hold an event where the prize would be a new car from Alex's company. He said that he would not give the car back to him, he would just let him sit there, and he would come back in the evening to set up the monitoring system and theft protection. When Charlie logged back into the game, the system calculated the results of the fitness test, and various benefits would be available to him. After that, he went to level up by killing monkeys. These stone-skinned monkeys were easier to kill than the previous ones. He also received equipment that restores health. The shoulder pads and mantle restore a huge amount of health. Going deeper into the cave, Charlie found a boss who was strengthened by some strange force. He's lucky that even though he has a lot of health, his attacks are quite weak. It turned out that this boss can self-heal. At some point, he restored part of his health. Charlie called it a cheat skill. He healed almost 200,000 health. Half an hour later, this boss was killed, and Charlie received a huge amount of experience and equipment from this monster. The special effects on the new chest plate were too cool. It was like a second life. Plus, there was a stun. With this special effect and the blue pants, Charlie decided to try out the Lunok worship. After this, the hero received a message from Jessica in which she asked Charlie to help the guild level up. But the guy thought to himself that before taking people, he first needed to clear the dungeon of agility. Jessica was shocked by the price Charlie was charging for help, so she decided to try sending messages to these companies. Charlie noticed it was odd that only one piece of equipment dropped. Usually there are 5. He decided that he should check the attributes first. He got a staff that increases the chance of critical damage and has 3 special effects. It's simply a divine weapon. The hero struck the ground with this staff and the ground beneath his feet split. He then summoned his clone, which can be very useful. It can confuse or distract the enemy and cause damage. In order to upgrade his gear, Charlie decided he needed to check out the city, but before that he wanted to check out the monkey he just killed. The system described that this summoned beast can be ridden. He summoned the monster and said that its appearance was too epic. Charlie jumped on the monkey and got out of the dungeon. The monster was incredibly huge. He ordered his new henchmen to head to the city, hoping that there was a way to fuse the equipment there. When they finally reached the city, Charlie was pleasantly surprised by the architecture here, as expected from one of the 10 major cities. The guard at the entrance to the city said that riding mounts was prohibited in the city. When he entered inside, he realized that there was no player around. In the distance, he noticed a blacksmith who could help him with the fusion of weapons. The blacksmith said that since he is not a member of the Blacksmith Association, they do not assist outsiders in merging equipment. Charlie decided to become one of the blacksmiths and said that he needed to transfer the special effects of the staff from one to another. The blacksmith couldn't handle it himself and said that Charlie could handle it himself, but the fusion required level 5 blacksmithing. To increase the level, the blacksmith advised increasing the level by disassembling, forging, improving, and fusing equipment. 4 hours later, Charlie had finally reached level 5 in blacksmithing. Time to upgrade his staff and transfer the special effects. Now he really looks like a divine weapon. With such a weapon, he begins to feel like some kind of great sage. At this time, Jessica asked her comrades to wait. Charlie will arrive soon. Besides, they started the broadcast. Currently, 24 million people are watching them. Those people were saying that people on the broadcast just wanted to see him make a fool of himself. The price he set was inestimably high. Their leader approached them and asked if they doubted her decision, and they said that they absolutely did not. The next moment, Charlie appeared, riding on his new monster. These people thought that the boss had attacked them. They did not understand how he got there. Jessica was also surprised by this. It was the first mount on the server. She is very jealous of it. Lucy joined them and asked to be taken along too. She is in charge of the broadcast. Jessica replied that if they take a few more people, people will get very little experience. Charlie said that he didn't say he would only take 2 people. They wouldn't need much experience to level up. So it's fine. At this time, some guy who was watching the broadcast said that not only did the anonymous person only take them for an hour, but now he took 2 more. They were going to ruin their broadcast. Another player said that their film company is really rich, since they can throw money around left and right. Lucy warned Charlie that people on the stream were already criticizing them, and she suggested that they leave the group. When he told them about a new dungeon that they had never heard of before, they entered inside, and immediately on the way they met many flying spirits. The girls immediately started complaining that this place was terrible. These monsters were level 22. Charlie said that they all use magic attacks, so they don't need to involve them. He said that he will be back soon. Jessica said that he wants to draw all the monsters to them. The leader's attacks are extremely strong, so it is more effective to kill them in groups. Another guild also started a live broadcast. It looks like they want to compete with the anonymous one. During the broadcast, Bill's people said that their leader and his 2 deputies would personally lead them. They would gain immeasurable experience. But at that time, the anonymous person left the people in the dungeon and did not return. After 20 minutes, Charlie's team members began complaining that they still hadn't leveled up. Jessica reassured them and said that the anonymous person must definitely have a plan. Another girl said that since they signed a contract, they should trust him. But due to new circumstances, the trust was undermined. After some time, Charlie returned and brought with him a huge crowd of magical spirits. Lucy said there were too many of them, and for a while she even doubted Charlie's success. Charlie was glad that it was finally his turn to have fun and test his staff. The girls watched his battle and were very surprised by his strength and stood watching with their mouths open. When he finished, he was very upset. He collected these monsters for 20 minutes and killed them in a minute. It was too boring for him. People who watched the broadcast laughed at his remarks. Many had previously attacked the anonymous person, but now that seems impossible. Then Charlie asked his comrades to check the experience bar. It should have increased. Lucy said her experience had gone up by just a little bit, and Jessica noticed that her bar seemed to have gotten smaller. The hero called them stupid and asked if they hadn't seen the golden glow. The guy in the group realized that he had leveled up and was now level 21. Lucy and Jessica also leveled up, increasing several of their levels in 20 minutes. The hero said that this dungeon also quickly restores mana. In total, he received 4,000 mana, and each of them received 1,000. Even if they trained in the guild's territory, it would take 14 hours to obtain 1,000 mana points. When another girl asked what kind of monsters these were, Charlie replied that they couldn't handle these monsters yet, but they could try to fight them if they didn't believe them. The girl tried to hit the spirit but did not cause a single point of damage. She said they were immune to physical attacks, and in response to her attempts, the spirit struck her. Physical attacks are useless, and they use pure mana attacks. They won't be able to defeat them. An hour later, the allies had leveled up a few more times, with Jessica reaching level 23, which is one of the highest levels on the server. At this time, people from all over the server and their guilds began to collect money in order to contact the Wild Waves and ask them to take it. Guildmaster Amber's assistant said that the Wild Waves Guild reported that there were a lot of people in the queue and they were prioritizing higher bids. After her words, the head ordered a meeting of all members to discuss raising the rate. And so the guild leveling was completed. Charlie said that they would see each other next time. If such an opportunity presented itself, if they needed anything, they should contact Lucy. Then they, along with the monster, headed to the bloody pool of the moon where Charlie fought with the monsters. While he was there, he was constantly losing 0.5% of his health. But what's worse, there were a lot of monsters in the cave. Charlie needed to quickly activate invisibility. Going deeper, he found a huge stone slab that led to the battlefield. These monsters have a blood curse skill. It is very strong. Charlie wanted it for himself, to unite their bloodline and take such a monster for himself. Not only did the number of soldiers increase, but their health also increased by 10%. Charlie decided to try to subdue one of the monsters, but he failed due to the special conditions of the cave. He was very upset about this and said that it was a waste of time. Then the guy found a portal that possibly led to a secret kingdom. When he entered the secret kingdom last time, there was some kind of stone platform. If you put items on it, the reward will increase. Suddenly, the system gave Charlie a new title after he discovered a new secret kingdom. People on the server rejoiced after Charlie's arrival. They argued about who was stronger between him and Anonymous. After some time, the game issued a notification about a new event that could destroy level 10 cities. Lucy was thinking to herself that the last server-wide task was very difficult. She was wondering what this task would be like. At this time, the head of the National Guild said that now that all the heads of the major guilds were here, he proposed to discuss a new task. If the Chinese server merges, there will be hundreds of millions of players in one main city, and coordination will become a big problem. The players agreed with him. After the merger, there will be more than 1,000 elite game characters in the main city. How difficult the task will be. The leader said that almost all the high-level seers said that the difficulty of this quest was 5-star destruction. The crowd started talking about how if they really did lose the main level 10 cities, then their server would be finished. At some point, the system issued a message that in order to give players a more realistic experience of monster invasions, players who died during the mission would not be able to resurrect. Discontent immediately began to spread among the crowd. One life in the game was not enough for them. The boss said that given the current situation, they can only give it their all. They have already developed a strategy. They will send it to all guilds in the near future. The next day, a huge horde of players lined up in Stormwind City, ready to fight. Among them was Lucy. She was shocked that the main city had increased in size 10-fold. Such a number of game characters is impressive. After a short pause, the game displayed a message that it was starting a very profitable boss-killing quest. People were torn between choosing which task to participate in. Only Lucy was still waiting for Charlie to show up, and this time things were going badly for them. Charlie watched this whole scene from above, saying that this was a good event, and that he hoped to find a boss that would drop ancient materials. This way he will be able to enter dungeons and obtain materials, but the level there is high, so it may take time for the boss to appear. Lucy said that it was already almost 8 hours, and there were a lot of people killing bosses. The highest result had already exceeded 1,000. Many players have gone to fight bosses. Defending the city is becoming increasingly difficult. As a result, the Blood Demon army advanced towards the main city and the people were very scared. The entire city was filled with a red fog, which was more complex than the previous event with the normal fog. People who were in this fog were constantly receiving damage. People were confused. No one knew what to do. Someone gathered a team and rushed to cleanse the Blood Demon army and protect the city from the fog's attack. Lucy said to herself that Charlie was the only one who could save the people in the city. At this time, Charlie was glad that he finally had a chance to kill the spirit animals guarding the main city, and he was going to join the fun in the city. As it turned out, the guy was going to help the Blood Demon army. He replied that although he is a monster, in his soul, he is still a member of the Chinese people. How can he allow the Chinese server to be destroyed? The hero wants to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First, he will destroy the spirits of the city's beasts, and then he will kill the Blood Demon. At this time, the players on the Chinese server were constantly fighting the Blood Demon boss. If he were to fight them seriously, no one in the human army would be able to resist him. Then Charlie came along and gave people a glimmer of hope. Green numbers appear above the boss's head. This means that he is healing, he is now invulnerable. Charlie is also a monster, so he can restore 0.5% of his maximum health per second. The guy asked the dog how he could get to the ancient battlefield, and the pet replied that his owner had already mentioned it, and that he needed to find a group of stone pillars and spend 10 million reputation. The guy thought to himself that it seemed like he had no choice but to attack the main city in order to gain a reputation. But before that, he needed to change his appearance. He changed his appearance to that of a monkey and mentally apologized to humanity. But first he needed to break through their defenses. After this, the beast attacked the people who were close to it. People were in a panic. Their line of defense was about to collapse. Someone even recognized the anonymous person's skills in monkey combat. Razor was also watching this. He said that the Chinese server would hardly be able to hold out. Their main cities were probably finished. Suddenly, someone from the castle towers ordered all healers to retreat to the city. They must heal the elite guards in order to hold the last line of defense. Players began to get upset that he was asking melee players to sacrifice themselves, and if they died, they would not be able to be resurrected. The people did the opposite and headed to fight the boss. Razor was surprised at how brave the Chinese fighters were. They were very united. As it turned out, the Blood Demon can fly. At some point, huge wings grew out of his back. People didn't know how to resist such a tank. No one had such a huge amount of health to fight it. The Blood Demon itself was incredibly huge. No one could handle it. Suddenly, the boss began to let out a roar that echoed throughout the battlefield. His attack had a huge range and dealt a lot of damage. Some guy tried to hit the monster, but he couldn't do any damage. After an unsuccessful attack on him, the boss simply took off and flew away towards the city. The game system detected a monster attack and activated the protective array of earth, water, fire, and wind of the main city. The players were delighted with this. For them, it was another ray of hope for victory. Charlie was saying to himself that the Blood Demon would most likely have enough strength to break through the array, otherwise this task would be pointless. Charlie arrived on the battlefield to help the Blood Demon and struck the ground, splitting it. People in the city were talking about some low-level monster that was stronger than the boss. They recognized the anonymous monkey set. From the castle towers, they began shouting again that the strength of the defensive array was rapidly declining and that people needed to drive the monkey away quickly. After this, they began to inform each other that their main goal was to drive away or kill the monkey. Charlie was outraged that they were discussing the plan of action right in front of him. Then he realized that if he obeyed, he would be kicked out. But if he didn't obey, it wouldn't look like he was a real monster. Then crowds of players pounced on the guy to force him to fight them. But instead of fighting, Charlie decided to retreat and let the Blood Demon deal with them. People began to think about what he was trying to do, but still rushed after him to drive him away. The hero realized that he had no choice but to use his trump card. Charlie began to strike at the city's defensive array, and it slowly began to collapse. The people immediately panicked, but quickly retreated and were again ready to repel another attack. The guys were talking about how this monkey is very smart. When its skill is ready, it goes to help other monsters. They decided that they could use this to set up an ambush. They encountered the beast in a fight. Charlie said to himself that setting up an ambush was mean, but they could not stop it. At this time, the people continued to fight the boss. but most of their army was defeated on the battlefield. They were surprised that the monster was getting hit, but not fighting back. It didn't follow the logic of the bosses in this game. The boys decided to forget about it. They can't continue to die in vain. They tried to attack him altogether. 2 hours later, beams of flame erupted from the arena's underground walls and clashed in the sky. People called upon a sacred beast that was supposed to help them in the battle with the blood demon. It was the tiger Aurora. As soon as the beast appeared, it immediately attacked the demon, and the area around it shook from their blows. Charlie was glad that the white tiger Aurora, another supreme beast, finally appeared. People were saying that the blood demon was strong and Aurora might not be able to withstand it. They couldn't rely on the game characters alone to protect the city. They needed to join in. At the top of the towers, an old man and some guy were talking. He said that an anonymous person had sent a message that he would not participate in the defense of the city. The old man said that it was logical that the anonymous person would not come. Last time, he single-handedly turned the tide of events, so this time he was not obliged to help. At this time, Charlie was watching the monsters fight. The two of them must have little health left before the end of the task. Otherwise, Charlie was waiting in vain. The battle between the monsters lasted for 9 hours. After such a long wait, Charlie finally had the chance to attack the monsters. He saw the blood demon about to use a slash that would deal 100,000 damage. Charlie needed to stop the demon from striking, and he attacked the tiger. If he didn't kill him, then waiting was pointless. To deal with two monsters at once, Charlie summoned his clone, who went to the tiger. The clone began to successfully strike and poison the monster's body. The real body of the hero went to the blood demon, who chose him as his main enemy. People couldn't understand why 3 bosses were fighting each other, but the monkey was attacking both of them at once. After a short period of time, the clone killed the divine beast. He received 10 8-star materials and 100 million reputation points in the beast's body. The boss's magic weapon, Charlie has never seen before, is still in the 50-day server opening celebration event. Killing him now will definitely give Charlie a lot of points. People watched him and thought he was a wild monster. They also thought that it could be either anonymous or Charlie. He is as agile as they are. After another 2 hours, Charlie finally defeated the blood demon. People could not believe his victory. So many people could not defeat him. But he did it alone. After killing the demon, the guy received materials, orange weapons, wings, and techniques. But suddenly, the game decided to set up the hero. It brought him to the list of leaders in collecting points for the battle. People started shouting. They said that this was what was expected from Charlie. He killed both the spirit of the beast and the blood demon. Lucy said Charlie was incredible. At this time, in the double-star tower, a subordinate approached his boss and asked if Charlie could become stronger than them, to which the boss replied that he was only level 33. To him, he was just an insignificant clown. His guild members were at level 42, at which level they can level up others, and rich players will be all for it. Then the events shift to the boss, who was angry at the anonymous person, and Charlie, who were becoming more and more famous. Initially they, including the higher spirit animals, should have belonged to him. Then some girl approached him and ordered him to call her his master. She said that at level 42 the master system opens. All she can say is that he doesn't know anything about this game, so why doesn't he just test it out in the game? Soon the boss entered the game and saw a huge flying whale above his head, which was the girl's mount. After this, he received an invitation to become a student of a girl for 20 million. At this time, Charlie was busy killing bosses. He wanted to kill as many as possible. There was little time left for the event, so he would kill the Shadow Wind bosses. Charlie said to himself that he didn't need the 8-star materials yet, so he decided to sell them and improve the Legion recruitment order. This time, there are many things to upgrade, starting with his personal dungeon, which can now be expanded to a 5-man dungeon that generates a daily profit of 150,000 coins. Finally, he can look at the items he got from the bosses. Indeed, after activating the new skill, Charlie deals 12,000 units of mana damage per second. He then decided to look at the new wings, which had a purple rarity. The hero was incredibly happy when he could now really fly. It was a great feeling for him. Now that he has the ancient hearts and ancient fragments, he can go to the blood pool. Charlie got 5 ancient hearts, 5 ancient fragments. The blood pool boss was killed. The dungeon will disappear in 10 minutes. Killing the blood demon counted as killing the boss. In any case, he managed to level up there. Now that he has enough prestige, he should be able to open the ancient altar. The system notified that he had enough prestige to open the ancient altar. Opening the ancient altar required 10 million wildlife prestige. Because it uses the prestige of the wild, the altar will summon humans as opponents. As his first opponent, the game selected a fragile girl who was very frightened by the wolf's appearance. Charlie realized that this woman was definitely not a game character, but if she was a player, she should be of a high level, and looking at her equipment, it was clear that she was a strong player. The girl continued screaming that he had scared her to death and that she admitted defeat. She wanted to go back. The hero was in shock. He didn't expect this fight to be so easy. At this time, the boss accepted the offer to become a student of this girl. Her name is Chloe. The guy asked her where she planned to take him to level up. He asked about pair cultivation to level up. If he considers himself her client, then he should behave normally. She can have as many of these clients as she wants. If he still doesn't understand where his place is, then he can get out. In the end, the boss apologized and said that he just really wanted to defeat the anonymous guy, but he was already level 30 and couldn't come to terms with it. The girl told him that before the server opened, the guild invited the best players, and according to the agreement, they cannot participate in any events until permission is given, which is why no one knows about them. After some time, Lucy announced on her broadcast that level 42 players had appeared. They could fly with a sword and could also fly on magical treasures. The guys she told about this said that it's not for nothing that there is a saying that there is always someone stronger. Compared to them, Charlie and Anonymous are nothing. The girl said that the appearance of these players, along with the opening of the master-apprentice systems, will definitely rewrite the structure of the game. But she believes that Charlie and Anonymous will catch up with them. At this time, Charlie was leveling up. Elite monsters of the 40th monster give a lot of experience and materials, but they do not drop equipment. But the guy said that he enjoyed killing them. He moved further and found the boss's hideout. He hopes that something good will drop from it. The boss turned out to be a huge knight who looked strong to him. To deal with him, the guy used a fire whirlwind, which dealt a huge amount of damage. From this monster, the guy received one ancient heart, which he was glad about. When Charlie turned around, the knight had already been revived, which certainly surprised the guy. 4 minutes later, the boss was already defeated and the guy was holding the reward from his death in his hands. He asked the ghost girl to give him invisibility. He wanted to see what's new in the game. Suddenly, the guy received an invitation to a duel from the Imperial Prince. The hero was even taken aback for a second by his courage. In the message, the guy invited the hero to an official challenge to a duel. Charlie suspected that something was fishy there. He wouldn't challenge him just like that. Most likely, he now has a master, and he wants him to fight with him in the end. Eventually, the guy agreed to his demands and accepted the challenge, and he told Alex about it. The next day, the server players learned that the prince wanted to use his master in battle, and since the anonymous person already knew about it, he somehow accepted the challenge. Chloe told her student to accept the challenge. Tomorrow morning, she would make him the laughingstock of the entire server. At this time, Charlie was leveling up. In 3 hours, he would reach level 35, then he would be able to use orange equipment. Suddenly, Amber came into his room, who also heard that the prince had challenged Charlie to a duel, but the guy said that he was fine. He said that if he wins, the divine beast will be given to the girl. An hour and a half later, Charlie's prestige was enough to open the ancient altar. The second altar cost 10 million more reputation, so he thinks the opponent will be stronger. Surprisingly, Charlie summoned the same girl as a new opponent, who again became very scared. She was scared that the monster was talking. She definitely wouldn't fight such a terrible creature like him. The girl again refused to fight, and Charlie once again emerged victorious. An hour later, Charlie was busy killing bosses, receiving fragments of various districts. Now he can finally use the orange weapon. For weapons, he realized he needed to open a second slot for a magic weapon. His staff turned into an orange level 35 weapon. His staff now divine, Charlie was curious how the Imperial Prince's master was going to fight him tomorrow. The next day, Charlie and his guild members arrived at the site of the duel and were told that they had set up a bookmaking office. The hero said that no matter how much they bet, he would definitely win. A huge crowd of several hundred players gathered to watch the magnificent duel. Lucy was also there and said that the duel between the anonymous man and the Imperial Prince had captured the hearts of many people. She came up and asked the other players for their opinion. They said that the best players were surrounded by a purple aura with so many items, they thought that the anonymous brother didn't have a single chance. Lucy realized that in this fight everyone was against the anonymous man, but she was sure that he had a plan. He would not fight knowing that he did not have a chance. To himself, the prince thought that today the anonymous man's popularity would come to an end. Then Charlie arrived and tried to be friendly with the guy, but he was hostile. After that, his master came out and said that he dared to act so arrogantly while sitting on a bloody monkey. Where did he get so much confidence from? In response to this, Charlie said that she was simply higher level, but that did not mean she was stronger. She said that he thinks just because he has 3 purple items, 5 blue ones, and some upgraded gear, he thinks he has a chance. After a short verbal altercation, the girl said that they needed to start the battle. The people in the crowd saw the divine beast for the first time. They were saying that the battle would be too boring. What's the point of fighting with such a difference in levels? But the anonymous guy seems pretty confident. They think it's worth teaching him a lesson. And finally, the battle began. Charlie rushed to meet the girl. In the battle, Charlie decided to use a clone, and he himself became invisible. He decided that he would let her play with the clone. The clone began to attack the girl with his poisoned blows, which gave her the poisoning effect and dealt damage. The people in the crowd couldn't believe their eyes. The anonymous person's attack power was incredibly high, and Chloe used a recovery potion. The girl saw that the guy had a few tricks at his disposal, but he was still trash to her. Chloe had a huge amount of health, and her armor and attack were also huge. The girl attacked Charlie and used her magic blade on him, which split into 3. The players watching the fight were very surprised when the girl used the second phase of her attack. Then the third phase of the attack appeared. The girl stood proudly above the people and said that there was a huge difference in strength between them. Just one skill, and he was almost dead. And to finish him off, she decided to finish him off with a low-level skill, the 10,000 swords technique. The prince also began to mock Charlie when he realized that his master had practically won. But suddenly the girl felt that something was wrong. She sensed a catch in the battle. Charlie, while invisible, asked her if she liked killing the illusion and who was really fooling whom. The players didn't understand what was happening. They realized that it was just an anonymous illusion. Chloe said that even monsters don't have invisibility skills, so where did he get it from? Charlie said that since she was one of the best, there was no point in telling her. He would only tell if she bowed to him. The girl thought to herself that because he was invisible, he did not believe that he could remain under her forever. Charlie was also thinking to himself that she was acting too carelessly. It was time to attack. The girl raised some kind of mirror above her head, with the help of which she is going to attack the hero. People started saying that if a person falls under the sights of this artifact, then if you do not destroy its owner, it will make you doubt its existence. Suddenly, a column of fiery fire struck the ground. People were surprised that he could attack while invisible. It's not a skill, but definitely an artifact. Charlie said that her artifact probably has high attack power. She's just using it to pinpoint his location. As soon as the hero took out the orange weapon, everyone in the area was immediately shocked. Charlie told her to watch carefully because her equipment was worthless compared to his. He launched one attack at the girl with his weapon and immediately knocked her out. The hero told the prince to tell his master to leave, otherwise she would definitely die. People were shocked by such actions. An anonymous person knocked out a level 42 player. They were shocked by his orange weapon. Charlie told her that in the wild she would have to respawn at least 3 times, and each time her health would only be restored to 10%. After her death, the boy received a purple thigh armor of level 40. After his second death, he received a level 40 purple chest plate. People watched this and said that her level had dropped. They think that she already regrets that she got involved with the anonymous person. They decided to stop the hero. Charlie asked them about their fear that he would continue to collect things from her corpse. They said that he won only because of his invisibility. If it had been a fair fight, it would have been difficult to determine the winner. Then, when the girl was resurrected, she said that she would repay the anonymous person 100-fold for humiliating her. Charlie said that she was the one who initiated the duel, but anyway, she could come to him at any time. After Chloe left, Charlie turned to Amber and the girl said to herself that her brother scared her. The guy gave her a divine beast, which he received after defeating Chloe. People were, of course, surprised by this. She received the divine beast only for her beauty. Amber said to herself that her older brother was quite the joker, but now this little friend would live with her. Charlie told the prince that the next time he had something that good, he could call him. Charlie thought to himself that he would now better go to the ancient altar. He wondered what kind of player it would be this time. When the hero's opponent appeared, he was incredibly nervous, encouraging himself and saying that he had dealt with bosses without a single scratch, so there would be no problems with him. He thought he had met a newcomer, and Charlie began his attack. As soon as the guy tried to strike, a strong shield appeared around the enemy through which it was impossible to strike. Charlie thought to himself that these players, who seemed to appear out of nowhere, were actually better than the testers. 2 minutes later, Charlie defeated a random opponent. The opponent said that his opponent is really strong. Next time, he will take an artifact that removes control, and then he will definitely not lose. Charlie said that if he brought the artifact that removed the control, things would become much more difficult. But first, he needed to level up and then try the next altar. When the hero used the altar again, he summoned the girl he had already fought twice, and the girl was again frightened when she saw the monster. Charlie calmed her down and said that he was just an ordinary monster, and there was no need to be afraid of him. The girl said that she had spent so much reputation she could not just give up again. She had to overcome her fears. She was surprised when the guy tried to cheer her up. She said that she was actually very strong. As soon as the fight began, the girl threw a dagger at the guy, and Charlie used his tracking skill to track its flight path. As it turned out, her daggers were not her main weapon. Her main weapon is a bow. She actually switched to long-range shooting. Now that she is at a distance, the fight will be more difficult. The girl began shooting at the monster's body, causing various effects. This woman has some killer combos. Charlie can't let this continue. Charlie scared the girl and said that only if she killed him, he would be able to get out of there and find her in real life. He admitted that she was much stronger than those testers, but Charlie got tired of this and began to attack from his side, using 18 blows in a row. The girl shouted that she remembered him, and the next time they met, she would definitely win. The hero was saying to himself that the next day there would be a double experience event. He hoped he would be able to reach the altar for 40 million reputation. This would speed up the leveling. A little later, when the brother and sister were sitting together, the boy said that even with double the experience, it was not worth staying up late. They needed to rest more. His sister is always in a hurry. The hero is still waiting for her to calm down. At level 45, Chloe asks her boss how things are going with leveling up. He replied that they are still there. They need a boss to unlock the second heavenly kingdom. The girl explained her defeat by saying that he was simply lucky. He managed to acquire the invisibility skill, and in addition, he has an artifact that allows him to deal damage without breaking invisibility. He only took 2 purple-level items from her, and she also lost a fire killing. The boss said that the killing couldn't be lost. These divine beasts can fuse together, so they can't be lost. They must get the fire killing back at any cost. Their team members started talking about how when he stepped onto the level 40 map, they would meet him and kill him. Chloe was incredibly angry at him and told him to just wait until he died. 2 days of leveling later, Charlie didn't sleep the entire time, but leveling during the double experience event went great. Amber came up to him and said that it was unfair. He scolded her, and he himself had been raising his level for 2 days in a row. She's still being leveled up, but she still hasn't reached level 35, and he's already level 44. Charlie said he just knows a good place to level up. He suggested we grab a bite to eat before going back into the game. At this time, the prince was talking about how they must destroy the anonymous person at any cost. He is always in the spotlight, and all the good things go to him. Chloe said that as soon as he sets foot on their territory, they will give him a warm welcome. Their comrades said that they would endlessly lift things from him and lower him to the very bottom. The boss also confirmed this. Then he was told that the anonymous person had reached level 44. People immediately stood up in shock. In 2 days, they had only raised 1 level, and he raised it so quickly. He must have found some leveling spot that they don't know about. The boss is willing to bet that he was leveling up so mindlessly that he didn't have time to upgrade his equipment, no matter what level he is. As soon as he gets into their territory, they will constantly kill him. Chloe said that if they don't destroy him, he will become a huge threat. 8 hours later, a huge crowd of players gathered in one of the server's main cities. Charlie said that it seemed like no one had been idle for the past 2 days, and the main city of the 30th level had come to life. Now that everyone had leveled up, Charlie decided to sell off his level 30 gear. Someone was watching him from the side, and he, of course, noticed this, came up with some tricks. Charlie said that if it wasn't enough for them, then it was time to teach them a new lesson. The guy who was watching him was shocked. When the hero flew into the sky, he thought that he probably flew to the 40th level map. The boss was informed of this, and the prince said that he would start a broadcast so that everyone could see what would happen to him. The system told the hero that his current resources were sufficient to complete the raising of the Chimera cub, and Charlie, of course, agreed with this. He hopes the wait and resources were worth it, and he's obliged to give those testers a pleasant surprise. The hero said that he had grown a lot. He told the monster to take his experience and raise his level to the limit. When this happened, the monster reached level 30, and Charlie decided to look at its characteristics. The guy said that his entire set of equipment gives 6,000 attack power, but he already has more than 10,000, and his health is already 70,000, and this is only at level 30. His talent with a split attack that deals 100% damage to enemies in an area sounds really cool. He needs to find some monsters and test it. Charlie hopes there are enough people testing so he can use this talent to its full potential. Preparations for Charlie's arrival to the testers were almost complete. They set up detection traps. As soon as he entered the map, they would immediately detect him. The boss said they would kill him and force him to quit the game once and for all. Charlie expected that they would have installed anti-invisibility measures. Fortunately, he received a warning since that was the case. He decided to use a clone and play with them. He asked the ghost girl to give him invisibility, but the girl didn't understand why. The dust of revelation instantly reveals invisibility, so what's the point? He had some kind of plan. When he calls her, she needs to return to him. The appearance of the jackal monster's body frightens even him. The boss ordered the prince to start the broadcast and notify everyone to increase the number of views. Everyone else needs to get ready. It would be best if they could finish him off instantly. During the broadcast, the prince told viewers that testers were hunting for the anonymous player, intending to force him to leave the game forever. People saw the anonymous guy approaching them. They really did ambush him. It's over. This time, the anonymous guy will really die. A crowd of powerful players are heading straight to Charlie. They said that it is better not to mess with them. His account is now finished. After the explosion, it turned out that it was just a clone. He was definitely invisible. It seems that he knew that there was an ambush here. Then a monster appeared that they were afraid of. People noticed that its name was ridiculously long. They couldn't believe that such monsters existed. Suddenly, they recognized in his prefixes the name belonging to Charlie. Last time, Charlie was in the form of a monkey. Some girls couldn't believe that he could so easily turn into any monster. Be that as it may, this monster Charlie, but why is he there? Did he really team up with the anonymous person? Boss and Chloe started yelling that no one should worry about it. They just needed to kill him. A pillar of fire struck the ground, and the enemy team was surprised that he had such powerful skills. It seemed like it was too late. In an instant, Charlie attacked several people at once, screaming that none of them would be saved. When everyone died, Charlie said that it was very boring. He didn't even have to try. They were a complete disappointment. The hero almost forgot about the prince. Before going to study the level 40 map, he decided to deal with the prince. After the hit, the broadcast stopped. It seemed the test team lost. For the viewers, Charlie was incredibly strong. The prince thought that by defeating the anonymous player, he would become number 1 after the testers, but it seems he was too naive. After dying, the boss screamed that his weapon was lost. Chloe couldn't believe what just happened. She asked what kind of monster it was. Spectators were saying that the testers were so unlucky that so much purple gear dropped. The prince had no idea how he ended up here. In any case, this Charlie was more scary and mysterious than the anonymous one. Anonymous hasn't even shown up yet. Everyone needs to get ready. Charlie and Anonymous had never crossed paths before. They didn't know why they were teaming up this time. At some point, Charlie appeared again and killed everyone again. He got a lot of things from them again. People were saying that this couldn't be. Did Charlie really know their whole plan? Charlie said he completely forgot to wait for the anonymous person, but it would do. He got a bunch of things again. He said that the prince's equipment was too trashy. He was too lazy to even kill it. People realized that Charlie and Anonymous were actually friends, and players would never be able to handle such a combo, leaving the Imperial Prince with no chance of revenge. The boss was again indignant about losing the fancy equipment. He was told that they needed to call the big boss to help them. The players were surprised that he had already finished them off for the third time. The testers must be crying in the bathroom by now. Charlie told the prince that he had already killed them 3 times. He promises that this time he will go explore a new map and they can be reborn in peace. 10 minutes later, the players were able to breathe a sigh of relief. They said that Charlie was too cunning. At some point, they met a chimera that Charlie had recently raised. The chimera attacked the boss and killed him with 1 hit. The boss's subordinates said that even with 1/10 of health after rebirth, it was still too much. Then Charlie appeared again with his clone. They wanted to lower his level, but in the end, they got into trouble themselves. A little later, the boss called his superior and said that they needed help. Charlie was too strong. The boss said he would send someone to help them. They are currently passing the Heavenly Tower. After 15 minutes, the players were finally safe. The team boss was saying that this guy was really full of tricks. As Charlie moved further into the new territory, he encountered a new huge bug boss. The boss thought he was stronger only because he was bigger than the hero, and this irritated the guy. As soon as he struck, the beetle's armor reflected the blow. Besides, its defense was too high. It was a passive skill. As an attack, Charlie decided to deliver blows filled with mana. Fortunately, his attack power and speed were low. Charlie was prepared to wait for the arrival of the Legion of Monsters. 10 minutes later, the battle continued. Charlie sent the chimera and the clone into battle. He decided that the clone would attract all the attention. He asked the ghost girl to continue giving invisibility. He can control the clone. It will be a long battle. An hour later, the boss was finally killed. Without the Legion of Monsters, he wouldn't have been able to cope. He got the purple magic treasure, but those eyes are still sleeping. It makes him a little disappointed. He collected the 3rd slot of the magic treasure and will use it. At this time, Chloe and her boss were hovering in the sky trying to find Charlie and the anonymous person. Chloe said that they were probably killed by an iron-beaked killer beetle. Charlie entered the dungeon with a time limit. There, he met a terrifying creature. It looked very disgusting, but Charlie got used to it. As it turns out, they also reflect damage, about 10%. Based on the calculation, he would have to get 20,000 divine particles for a 100% chance, and if he was unlucky, then even that wouldn't be enough. He only had 2 hours. The ghost girl said that she had a suitable skill. She could help him block fatal damage once every 120 seconds. When Charlie finally defeated those monsters, he received over 1,000 divine particles. Chloe, while on the flying whale, asked the boss if the two would enter the divine dungeon. Within 2 hours, Charlie had received and spent 7,500 divine particles, and he couldn't believe that he hadn't awakened the eyes of the gods yet. 10 minutes later, the guy received the title. Other players found out about this and couldn't believe that he had received golden equipment. It only took 12,000 divine particles to awaken, but it can refine the eyes of the gods. The entire server knew about this improvement again. Charlie couldn't understand why it needed to be announced like that. People couldn't believe that he was an ordinary person. They wanted to see his characteristics. These stats are just crazy, and the 4 special effects are unreal. He is now invincible. The Eyes of God increases all the guy's attributes by 4 units. Charlie had only just entered the level 40 map and had already received such luxurious equipment. He turned his head and saw the entrance to the Dungeon of the Twilight of the Gods. For some reason, he had not seen it before. It seemed to be thanks to the eyes of the Demon Lord. Then Alex approached him and asked to know the stats of his equipment. Charlie decided to show these stats throughout the server to save him unnecessary trouble. People who saw the new characteristics began to envy their owner. In terms of stats alone, it's stronger than a level 50 purple weapon, and it also has 4 special effects. As soon as Charlie entered the dungeon, the people in the stands began to rejoice at the arrival of a new contender. The guy's first opponent was a huge Cerberus, and his mode was 100% sensitivity to pain. At the beginning of the fight, some invisible force did not allow the guy to move. This technique was incredibly strong. At the last moment, Charlie dodged the monster's attack. It was very close. The Cerberus itself was very fast. It was rapidly approaching the hero and was about to attack. The ghost girl said that she would give invisibility and activate a pillar of heavenly flame. Charlie was glad that the Demon Lord's eyes warned him of the attack. Otherwise, he might have died. He landed a great hit. He doesn't really have that much health. The hero can win. An hour and a half later, the monster was defeated. Charlie received a lot of experience and materials from the monster's corpse. The people watching him were surprised that the hero was able to defeat even Cerberus, and they were curious whether he would be able to win the next match. The random avatars of the gods means that they are most likely similar in strength. If that is the case, then perhaps Charlie will be able to clear this dungeon. Once he passes the first level of the Sky Tower, the second one will open. Only the first 3 bosses will be strong. At this time, some group is going to clear the dungeon with the second boss of the tower. The boss of this group saved some people. They said that now they are in his debt. If it weren't for him, a lot of time would have been wasted. The boss's subordinate said that this boss is now invincible. He is not at the same level as the previous 2 bosses. He said that the third boss is almost impossible to kill. The boss said that everyone should continue to level up. If he has time, he will help them level up. Another guy came up and said that other people were asking how to deal with Charlie and Anonymous. At this time, Charlie finished fighting the second boss. This time, the fight took 2 hours. Charlie decided to take a break. Suddenly, he received a message that there was a group of 5 testers who wanted to join their guild. At headquarters, Charlie welcomed all players who sincerely wanted to join their guild. He said that he heard that they help their members level up for free. He wants to say that the guild has no obligations in this regard. The tester girls said that they had no shortage of money, so Charlie greeted the group and asked about the fact that when he had just left the dungeon, he noticed that someone was following him. The girl said that the testers are waiting for the strongest testers, in particular those who have reached the current 50-level limit. She said that the Tower of Babel combat sets are very strong. It's the orange equipment. In that case, Charlie thanked her and thought to himself that he urgently needed new equipment. Soon the hero met the third divine avatar, who was as huge as the previous ones. An hour and a half later, the boss was defeated. Charlie said he needed to keep moving forward. He received equipment that has scaling potential. It gets stronger as it takes damage. 4 hours later, Charlie used the pseudo-demonic equipment synthesis again. The new equipment has the ability to summon 4 clones, and more importantly, this devouring ability works on any monster except bosses. This set is just insane. No matter what, Charlie has to destroy the final boss. He realized that sovereignty was created especially for him. Most players have only one controllable monster, and he has a whole army. He then summoned a new piece of equipment. It was a very powerful level 50 pseudo-demon sword. It allows you to dual-wield, gain power regardless of your opponent's level, and even reset your cooldown. The effect of 4 items increases attributes in total and provides numerous bonuses. The pseudo-demon set truly lives up to its name. Charlie decided that he needed to continue leveling up to strengthen his pseudo-demon set, but he didn't know where to find the most monsters. Then it dawned on him that instead of monsters he could use people. He decided to bypass the Chinese server. It was time to strike at the main city of the Indian server. These guys had already attacked them, and there were quite a lot of them. A huge tiger arrived in the main city. People thought of it only as a source of pelt. They saw a wild monster in the city for the first time. They decided that something cool would drop from it. After killing him, they all received all the gear at once, and each received 1 growth point. They didn't understand why he didn't resist. It would be better if he continued not to resist. The leader ordered to continue beating him. Charlie thought to himself that now he needed to upgrade his attack equipment as well. People were surprised when they saw an army of wild monsters. They ordered to quickly notify the players so that they would return and defend themselves. Improving Charlie's legion will also benefit him. Standing still earns growth points. This game can be quite relaxing at times. He also increases the stars of his legion. He kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Let her and more of him attack to increase armor growth points. 3 hours later, Charlie's growth points were almost at maximum, and all members of the legion had been promoted to 5 stars. Then Amber wrote to him, asking for help in clearing the dungeon. There were a lot of monsters in this dungeon, but since he was level 44, he wouldn't get any equipment by killing these monsters. Amber thought to herself that her brother was incredibly cool. He got another title. Charlie thought to himself that these monsters were too weak. Logically, there should be a strong boss here. The girl was shocked by his success. He had already reached the top floor. The hidden boss didn't appear because he didn't clear the dungeon fast enough. He decided to try again. Suddenly, a huge phoenix boss appeared, hovering in the sky and emitting a powerful aura from its body. This boss had 5 million health. About the same as the white tiger, Charlie decided that he had to defeat him. During the fight, he decided to use a clone to increase the speed of the boss's progress. He had a huge amount of damage. As expected from a supreme beast, the fight becomes more interesting. Charlie wanted to try out the pseudo-demonic equipment, so he turned into a demon to fight it. After the transformation, the monsters clashed in battle. The bird didn't last even 10 seconds. It was too easy for Charlie, but for some reason there was no notification of victory. Suddenly, the phoenix was reborn, and its characteristics had not diminished at all. Charlie was only sorry that it would not last even 10 seconds. 8 seconds later, the bird was already defeated. The guy received a lot of rare materials. He obtained the artifact of the reviving flame. He was curious whether he could now defeat the so-called boss of the heavenly domain. After this, Charlie received a message that someone wanted to become his student. He wanted to offer 80 million for it. The hero said that it was a lot of money, but this system was for life. At this time, Amber was fighting with some girl. She said that she was good, but she would not allow anyone to take the anonymous one. Amber said that no one is taking the anonymous person. They just said that she and the anonymous person look like a couple. Amber said she was a fan of Anonymous, and another girl asked who he was choosing. He turned to the girl and said that he would take her on as a student. And he told Amber that 80 million is a lot of money, so she should be offended. The hero said that since she was now his student, it was time to raise her level. He couldn't allow his student to fall behind the others. They reached the dungeon, and Lisa was surprised to see the ghost girl whom Charlie had asked to make him invisible. This purple ghost pet was the only one on the server. Once Charlie started fighting the monsters, Lisa was shocked to see him kill several monsters at once with one blow. An hour later, Lisa reached level 32. Charlie told her that he had some things to do in a couple of days, so he would help her level up to the maximum in those days. He said he would play, but he wouldn't have time to help her. He had some scores to settle with the testers. The next day, Charlie decided to settle on his 46th and her 40th. There was some event happening in the main city. Some guy said that the testers declared war on Anonymous. They said that if they saw Anonymous leaving the city, they would kill him on the spot. Charlie was informed that the testers had already gathered outside the city, but for now he was told not to leave the city. Senior guild members, as well as players of level 30 and above, were heading to his aid. Lisa said that she had already called for help from her guild. They are her father's subordinates. They will definitely help. Alex also called him and said that he was leading his team. Shadow and the Red Guild players were also already on their way, and hundreds of max-level testers from different regions had gathered outside the city. Alex said that so many max-level players against one person is too much. It's just a mockery. Even if they lose their level, they will fight to the end. He said they were ready to fight for him. 15 minutes and the 3 main teams would be there. Lisa asked Charlie if she should ask her father to mobilize all of his teams. She heard that there were about 500 testers, and they supposedly had several orange sets. Charlie replied that she would see his equipment soon. Before he just helped her level up, today it was time to teach her how to fight. After some time, Alex arrived with his warriors. He said that according to reliable sources, they have at least 11 sets of divine equipment. Charlie then turned to Jessica and told her that they shouldn't go out during the battle. With their equipment, they wouldn't even be able to penetrate their defense. Lucy said that they would definitely fight alongside him. At the very least, they could help distract some of the testers. The crowd of people who had gathered to help Charlie were waiting for the anonymous person to arrive. The testers were too powerful for their standards. Then the boss asked his subordinates if the anonymous person was not the Chinese god of war, and why was he acting like a turtle hiding in its shell. Suddenly, at some point, Charlie simply disconnected from the game. People thought that he had escaped. Amber asked him what was going on. He said that he was also confused. They were using the latest helmets, so why did they turn off? My sister said she had the same problem and asked her brother to check her gaming helmet too. Alex found out about this and said that he would go help fix it, but they should do as they saw fit. Alex asked his repairman to check what was wrong. He replied that the gaming helmet was too complicated. He needed time. The guy told him to hurry up. The testers were probably already calling them cowards. At this time, people in the game were talking about how the anonymous person said that he was leaving the city, and the next moment, he was leaving the game. The god of death also mocked him. He called the anonymous man a cowardly dog. He knows how to wag his tongue, but when it comes time to fight, he runs away like a rat. Alex's comrades were still on his side. They believed that the anonymous man was not someone who would retreat in the face of battle. This time, they would fight for him. The other players said that they were too weak to fight the testers, and they were very sorry that they sided with the anonymous player. Lisa continued to defend her master. She said that he simply passed out and did not run away. The tester's boss laughed at him. He said that he switched off at a critical moment. He must have been so scared that he wet his pants and caused a short circuit. After this, the opposing sides clashed in battle. The anonymous team didn't care how strong the testers were. Equipment could be returned and levels could be raised, but dignity could never be restored. Charlie's helmet was still being repaired. He said he would not let their sacrifices be in vain. Lisa encouraged her allies. She told her comrades not to be afraid and just keep moving forward. The testers mocked them. They resurrected again and again. The boss ordered to switch to first-level skills and slowly kill them. 10 resurrections have passed. All the equipment is knocked out, and the levels drop again and again, and they still resurrect. It becomes hard to watch. Lucy encouraged her allies. She said that she would not force anyone, but if they agreed, then let them go on the attack. Some guy was saying that even if they all fall today, they have to show them their strength. Testers said that they can't even break through their defense and still dare to attack. At least for them, it's not boring anymore. Some people said it was much better than killing monsters. They found it incredibly hilarious. After some time, Charlie's helmet was finally repaired, and now he can finally enter the game and fight. As soon as he appeared on the battlefield, the opponents immediately stopped. People were incredibly happy that the anonymous person had finally appeared. They said he didn't run away, he was just kicked out of the game. He never believed those testers. Charlie said that no matter how many there were, no matter what their reasons, no matter who was behind them, their accounts would be taken down today. The prince said that his orange equipment was trash in front of them, only here he would lose his account. Then Charlie asked why not make the fight more exciting. Charlie said they could bring up to 1,000 people, and the condition was that both sides had to be resurrected 50 times and turn on 100% pain simulation. People immediately considered him crazy, and turning on a 100% simulation was already too much.